Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 224. It's me and my son, Jack, back down in the basement to talk about another week of wrestling. We put timestamps. You can jump ahead to anything you want, investigate, listen to whatever you want to. We usually talk about whatever in this segment.
Why wouldn't you want to listen to the internationally traveled FNS?
That's very true. And
Segue.
very good segue, because sometimes we don't have a ton to talk about because we live pretty ordinary lives, fairly routine. But we did things.
I did things.
We did many things. We loaded up the family in the old Mitsubishi. We traveled down to
2020.
We're international
Outlander.
superstars now. Traveled down to the United States of America beneath us. Went to almost Pittsburgh, not to downtown Pittsburgh, but into Pennsylvania. Outlet Mall, close to Pittsburgh, for a collectible store for you, as I'm gesturing to many things on this table in front of me. If you're only in audio form, you're missing it. But
Yeah.
then back to Buffalo. So stayed over a night in Pennsylvania, stayed over a night in Buffalo just to shop and eat. And you take it away. What did you want to say here?
I went to 4 Targets.
A bunch of
In a
Targets?
day.
For figure hunting, mostly.
Destiny fulfilled.
And other than you didn't get your Takeshita.
I didn't expect to,
But what
that
did
was
you
just
get?
a pipe dream. Well, from the collectible place, I got.
What we should shout it out. What was it called? Do you remember?
Oh,
We even tried to buy
it
a
was
T-shirt.
Pop Culture, right?
Something.
It was just like that. I think Pop
I can't
Culture
remember.
Collectibles or something in Pittsburgh. But I got this Black Series Luke figure that was like, it's him in the yellow jacket from the New Hope celebration.
Yeah.
And I got this Darth Maul like hollow projector figure that like lights up. It's from 1999, so like when Phantom Menace came out, it's like, like the first wave of merch.
Yeah.
So that was funny. And then on the table here, I got this Darth Maul bust that's just like
I don't know how well he shows up on camera.
his upper body, whatever, and face, and it's just
Because I'm not good at this, so that's what you get. Oh, you can kind of see it, I guess.
which
Not
is this is as old as I am because it was for the 30th anniversary of Star Wars, which is 30 years on from 1977, which would be
bad. Great year.
2007.
What an amazing year, 1970.
2007 though.
Everything good came out in 1977.
But yeah, so I got that, and then I also found from there loose Bobby Lashley, topical, accidentally
Loose
topical.
Bobby Lashley.
Might I add?
Meaning
'Cause,
not in the package if you're not.
Yeah, we
a figure
got
person.
this. We went there before Dynamite aired, so accidentally topical purchase there.
Yep.
Also got
Really?
Eric Young because he was like cheap, and I was like,
Who has Eric Young?
I don't have Eric Young.
Support the Canadian guy.
And then from Targets, I got the Top Picks Cody, which I'm actually happy with because the newest Cody I got from Walmart like a little while back is stiff as balls, like
Yeah.
just like the pinless. You know how people say the comparison is the thief of joy?
Yeah.
I say no. It's paper straws and pinless knees.
That was one of your favorite things about the
Oh,
States.
plastic straws. God bless plastic
America
straws.
for plastic straws.
But like this one has pin joints and like I think because WWE switched factories from Thailand to China or whatever, a lot of the legs. I think my Rey Mysterio here, I got Rey Mysterio. His leg seems to be doing better, but this one wouldn't kick forward or it would like snap back. So the Cody, it's like perfectly posable, whatever. Just doesn't really matter to anyone else, but just figures have issues these days, and this Cody does not have issues, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
Because the only elite Cody from his return that I had before the stiff one was Torn Pec Cody.
Right.
But anyways, and then we got Face Paint Brody King from Walmart
Right.
because he was the Walmart exclusive. I got Claudio, which I guess is also topical. And then my favorite one was I got the Target, the Full Gear Hangman from when he won the title, which is like the first Hangman in new gear that they've made since like in like a few years because they've just been re-releasing the other long tights Hangman I have. But anyways, I'm happy with that. And then I think that's it, right?
I got a pair of basketball shoes for $24.
I got
from an outlet.
I got Monster Truck from Five Below.
Right. We checked out Five Below. We checked that your brother really wanted to try Wingstop. We tried that.
Wingstop was actually pretty good.
It was
I really
good.
liked Wingstop.
Olive Garden, not good.
Olive Garden was like, it wasn't bad. It was just
too
like,
much
it was so
food.
much. I can't
We can't
do
do
that.
it.
I'm
By
not,
the time the soup was done, the soup was a meal. It was like, anyways, it was far too
it's
full.
like they're concerned about not giving you enough for your money, so they give you too much for your money, and then in turn you don't get enough for your money because you don't
Right.
eat it all.
And your brother and you and your brother are old enough and get along well enough to let you guys go and do some stuff on your own. So that was nice. You
Oh
got
yeah,
to-
they had the chicken Big Mac, and one of my favorite things on McDonald's was that we don't have is so I did also notice
honey for the nuggets.
that was pretty funny.
We used to have that when I
That's
was
gross. That sounds horrible.
Just straight up honey.
That sounds horrible.
I don't know.
But they had the $1, $2, $3 menu, which I didn't get, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Plastic straws. We got this blue Fanta slushie that we didn't like because it was still kind of carbonated.
And your Gatorade you had.
Oh yeah, cucumber lime Gatorade. In fairness, I knew it was gonna be horrible when I bought it. So.
I don't like neither cucumber nor lime. So
I could do with lime or maybe even cucumber if it's in mix with something I do like, but it's just in electrolytes. It's not good. But anyways, they had ranch dipping for chicken nuggets, which was like surprisingly
ranch
awesome.
with everything. It's pretty.
I really liked when they brought back the retro sauces here for McDonald's for a bit. The garlic parm sauce that was really good. Like the creamy sauces tend to be good with the nuggets, but that was good.
Weather was incredible. Like
weather was really nice.
My thing that annoyed me the most
it was too hot
was that I didn't have shorts with me because I didn't plan for it to be.
Could have bought American shorts.
It was like 26 degrees.
Oh,
Celsius.
I forgot. I also got that Britt Baker from Target.
You did
with the
in Britsburg.
In Britsburg.
From Britsburg.
Spirit of the people there.
Exactly. So yeah, fun trip. Border crossings were easy. That's the easiest border crossings you'll ever see.
Light work.
Super easy. So everything's good. We got home safely. And yeah, so we've just been sort of relaxing for a day and a bit. It was just Halloween. We went dark for Halloween because we got back the day of Halloween and no one felt like doing anything. So
yeah.
The guys down the street, I was in Mike's garage last night. He was really busy. It seems like the central ones on our street are busy, but those of us down near the ends, so like us and the people down at the opposite end, weren't super busy. It's all the central traffic, I guess.
Because like
it's the same street.
And like for me, I'm not the biggest Halloween person. Like I don't hate it. Like it's fun and it's a good time of year.
Your mother is not a fan.
I've never taken like a specific liking to it. And then in addition to our years of vacationing on October break have robbed me of Halloweens, but now it's like I don't
Yeah, we've been in the Caribbean for some Halloweens before.
Or even the one time when the hurricane hit, we went to Niagara during Halloween.
Oh right.
So it's just like I've missed a bunch of them, and then obviously there was the COVID one. So it's like at this point, it's like missing out on.
When you were little, we were always here. Then as you got older and we had the chance to travel, and it's cheap to travel that week, we sort of took advantage of that. So
and I got no complaints.
Right, because you got to go to Jamaica and other places that you enjoyed.
Jamaica, all-inclusive water park over Halloween any day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every day.
I don't know. Is there anything else? I feel like you've got to get to work, so we're kind of doing this.
That is true.
I dipped out of doing your brother's strength and conditioning for his basketball team so that we could get this done. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Dynamite, NXT, some Raw, which was pretty much a waste of time, so that'll be pretty quick. I'll probably talk about Halloween Havoc in a bit as well. I'll go through that quickly.
I stuck true to my word, and I don't think I actually watched any of it.
I don't think you did. But anyways, we'll get started in all the wrestling stuff now. It's our first segment that we do every week for many, many weeks now. It's wrestling news and rumors. All right, well, you keep investigating that. I'm going to start talking about some ratings. He dropped something. It'll be like a needle in a haystack.
It's like the
you
little
didn't find
belt
it yet?
tip on the Owen Hart belt. Yeah.
So anyways.
I'll still manage.
This week's episode of NXT averaged 588,000 viewers, down 16.2. 0.14 in the key demographic, down 12.5. Sorry. So this is sort of, you can see as there's no longer the main roster stars being brought in, right? It's just slowly sliding and settling into where it's probably going to settle in. So that is the lowest total since they've moved to CW. To be fair, they did go head-to-head with World Series Game 4, Dodgers, Yankees. I put this in just because it's sometimes...
I'm finding Lego bits.
Sometimes interesting. What would you guess that... So knowing that NXT does 588,000, World Series Game averaged what, do you think?
Triple.
No, my God, no.
Dumb.
So 16 million viewers.
Jesus.
And so NXT was a 0.14. The baseball game was a 3.78. So crushed, obviously, as you'd expect. Dynamite averaged 628,000 viewers, down 1.4%, so pretty much held steady. 0.19 in the key demographic, exactly the same as last week. Again, they were head-to-head with Game 5 of the World Series. So I don't know if they were up against the same competition and basically held steady, and NXT had a bit of a drop. So it's your turn to tell a news story now as you continue to scour the earth for this piece that has disappeared.
It's like the Lego pieces have been stuck there for how long and I never noticed, so the chances are getting slim.
You not noticing things is not that surprising.
Suppose the biggest thing was WWE announcing their indie wrestling development program, quote WWE ID.
Yeah, I made some note of this as well.
So far they've partnered with Reality Wrestling, run by Booker T, the
Correct.
Nightmare Factory, run by some guy with a neck tattoo.
Yep.
Elite Pro Wrestling Training Center, I don't know, Knock X Pro Academy, whatever that is, and Black and Brave Academy, which is Seth Rollins.
Yeah, exactly.
Said to involve WWE identifying indie prospects and providing them with financial opportunity, assisting with training and development, and access to their world-class facilities and trainers. And I was saying, it felt like their attempt to have more of a grip on the indie scene, kind of like how they tried to monopolize the UK scene with NXT UK, but less so like that and more so get people before AEW do.
And it also is like now we're gonna. It's all about helping them with various things. If they identify you as somebody they want, then they're going to, I think, financially help them, get them opportunities, sort of keep an eye on them, whatever. So, yeah, it's them, like, locking up talent is too strong of a word. But I told you the silver lining for me is, like, this is them sort of diverting some energy from NIL stuff, right? Where you're just signing athletes and hoping to turn them into wrestlers, and instead you're actually targeting people who wrestle.
Yeah,
what a crazy idea.
Become more black and gold.
Not that the NIL hasn't created some people, because it definitely has. Like, Femi's awesome. I think Rook is going to be a big deal. Has Jada Parker, she's an NIL, right? I think she's awesome. So I'm not saying like scrap NIL or anything, but I also think
I'd be okay if they did.
I think there's value in getting wrestlers to be wrestlers.
That is
probably.
No,
it sounds weird. Did I have anything else? Apparently, Brandon Thurston of the Post Wrestling Story is saying that some wrestlers are already under contract, but they're not being named yet. So anyways, we'll see where that goes. Speaking of contracts and things, did you see Liv Morgan signed a 5-year contract with WWE? Really good timing for her, right? Because she's about as coming off, I would say it's cooling now. That feud and that whole storyline is cooling now, but coming off her hottest feud, I would say, that she's ever had.
I did it.
So good for her, to get that money, I say. Get that Federation money. Are you ready? What's happening?
Yeah, I was just fixing the cord. I did it.
Good job. Proud of you.
It was actually as I was giving out to you, like putting the thing back, and you always find stuff when you're not looking for them.
That's when they say, like, you always find things in the last place you look. Well, because you stop looking after that. So isn't that literally always true?
I mean, yeah. How could you ever not?
How could that ever not be true? I don't keep looking for it after I find it. I mean, that's just me. Maybe you do. I don't mean to judge anyone that keeps looking for things after they find them. But me personally, I stop looking.
I feel like there's some sort of disconnect there.
Anyway, sorry.
I guess the next biggest thing was not releases, but something akin to that was
basically
contracts not being renewed as
right.
Indy Hartwell, which, not surprising to me, I always thought she kind of was mediocre. Like, I feel like they tried with her because she's like tall.
They tried in NXT, brought her up with the title, right? Which I thought was too soon.
When she was injured too.
So yeah, I mean,
I don't know if set up to fail is the right word, but like she definitely wasn't like she was kind of thrown in deep water too soon.
Yes, and I don't see them having any.
And they don't even do a lot with Candice LeRae, who's like actually a good wrestler.
So I don't think Indy. Unfortunately, she'll be missed. Maybe she'll end up somewhere else.
I don't
TNA.
think she'll be missed. Sure. Tegan Knox, who she's pretty good. She just never really got much
injuries,
of a push,
man.
And a lot of injuries.
And I fear like if you get labeled as injury prone.
That happened to Samoa Joe a lot on the main roster. He got a lot of injuries, and he never got given a chance.
Unfortunately, I'm not saying this is right because it's not. She's reaching that 30-year-old spot too. I think that unless you're a super megastar, they
don't care as much. Yeah.
They age women out faster, it seems, which is not fair at all. But that seems to be how the industry works.
And the biggest one for me was Baron Corbin, which I've never been like the hugest fan of him. I used to like him a lot more in his Lone Wolf days when I was younger. But it does make me kind of sad because he's like a guy who's pretty much been on the main roster since I started watching. Like I was saying to you, my first WrestleMania, the first one I watched was 32 in 2016, and that was the one where he won the Andre. So I feel like he's just always kind of been there, and so kind of like someone akin to Ziggler, it won't be a huge deal, but it'll be weird that he's not there. And I am kind of sad because I feel like this year he kind of had a bit of a career renaissance. And it sucks they didn't really capitalize on that.
He was fun in NXT with Braun Breaker. I don't know if he helped Braun or whatever, but like, And
I think it helps show a different side of Braun, like kind of some character range.
I've come to respect Corbin because a lot of the times people have hated Corbin. I don't think it's Corbin's fault. It's what they've given him, right?
No, the Constable was in like one of those really bad creative errors, and he still did this.
Or even like Bum Corbin and Happy Corbin and all that stuff. Like he goes for it, man. You give him whatever. We talk about it like Cameron Grimes. You give him sort of stuff that's not great, and he'll try the hell out of it at least. Seems to be well liked backstage. I could see him landing in TNA.
I think he'd be a really good guy for TNA. So
I don't think AEW's right.
No, and I hope he ends up somewhere decent because, like I said, I do kind of like him.
I've come to respect
in the right roles. I think he's really good.
Yep.
It's just they haven't always given him good stuff to work with because especially Happy Corbin was stupid
and King
Corbin was boring.
Anywhere but WWE, you can lean more into his size too. The guy is a very big dude. Like even when he went to NXT, right, it became apparent that I kept saying like, I know this is the wrong comparison, but he could be like their Undertaker guy. He could be the big guy there that just, obviously it didn't go that route. But
one of the best finishers in the game, and I'll stand by that.
He has a good moveset. His signature moves are cool.
And End of Days is probably one of my favorite finishers. It's still peak.
Sorry, my turn, and I was drinking coffee. Ring of Honor closing in on a TV deal? Come on.
Why?
Here's why. Good question, Jack. True TV apparently is the rumor. Because they are sort of transitioning into during prime time being like a sports channel and they need content.
I mean,
and live content we talk about is the only thing that drives people to networks now. So
this could be,
if you're a small network and it's going to get you small to medium ratings, I don't know.
This could be the kick in the ass ROH needs.
It could.
Because like
not
their
starting to review
TV
it, though.
Product on just their streaming whatever is a joke.
It's too like that is too niche.
It means nothing. And I feel like the storylines aren't that interesting. There's not a lot of top talent on there. And then, like, the world title storyline isn't even on their product. Like, the recent world title storyline with Jericho and Briscoe has had zero, like, anything to do with ROH itself.
Kind of begs the question, do you think that they just strapped up Jericho because he is, like...
I think so.
Mainstream, transcends wrestling a little bit?
Even though he sucks ass.
Right. I don't think they don't
That's
care
not
about
what they're looking at.
And executives don't even know, right? They're just like, hey, I've heard of this guy. I haven't heard of this guy.
That's why Jericho's such a good get for
exactly
AEW back in the day.
Exactly. So it's on a smaller scale with a diminished Jericho. Same idea, I think.
Yeah, I feel like and then they're hoping like he can kind of do for ROH what he kind of did for AEW, but I don't think it'll work the same.
I don't either. I only have one more story.
I mean, if you just have Brian Cage drill claw people since he's the TV champion every week, then there's your ratings.
And Jericho manages him and talks for him. Fine.
No, I don't want Jericho to do that. I don't even
not
want
as the learning tree or whatever it is. The Nuevo. Like, you can give yourself as many names and catchphrases as you want, bud, but, like, it doesn't count as... I think he's now trying to be like, you know, how he constantly reinvents himself. No, these are subtle tweaks.
The learning tree is.
This isn't coming back with short hair and the like when he was like the serious Jericho. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So this one's more because like it's not exactly news, but I think it'll be interesting for you, and also because we're not gonna watch Blood Money.
No, we're not.
Which is the Saudi show for those who are not in the know.
Yeah.
But so on the Pointless Crown Jewel kickoff show, I think it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Because now they do like instead of doing pointless pre-shows right before the show, and like. Well, you know how like more recently they were doing the pre-shows before the show, and they just stopped doing matches since like 2022.
Yes.
So instead of having pre-shows right before the show with or without matches, now they like will sell out in a different space, whether it's an arena or something, just for a kickoff show. Like remember in February they had the WrestleMania kickoff show, and that's where there was like the thing with Rock and Roman and Cody and whatever. Like then they're selling out like whole arena just for talking.
Imagine.
And like I think it was set in the WWE Experience, which is this kind of like, you know, when we went to the mall and they had the office kind of setup. It's kind of like
the office experience.
Imagine a WWE version of that on a Saudi budget, and that's basically what it is.
That'd be wild.
Yeah, so I think that's where it was set. And anyways, like
so
it's
Saudi budget equals no budget. Equals infinite budget.
Infinite budget. Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's like these pointless kickoff shows, and like it's a whole another thing. It's just it's probably everything we hate about main roster.
I
Just
would
because
think
it's like
magnified on
you know what I mean?
steroids.
It's like their press conferences are dumb too. Anyways, the point of this to say is Triple H was saying something on here, and so he's talking about the crown jewel titles, and as if I thought this couldn't be more pointless.
All right,
these title belts will not leave Saudi.
Right.
They will be on display
Yeah.
at the experience for you to view, and the crown jewel champions will receive rings instead that they keep. So it's like then like let's say Gunther wins this year and he wins next year. Now he has 2 rings. You know what I mean? It's like
it's like winning a sports
MJF
title,
or it's like MJF.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's dumb because like it's just the epitome of like Saudi wanting to have these big beautiful belts that just look so like blinged out, and it's just for show, and the champions are gonna hold the belt for like one night and maybe at the press conference and then like never see them again.
Yeah,
as if the belts don't mean anything. Like it's just
they don't.
So dumb.
It's something for them to tout champion versus champion, and you can still be a holding pattern when you come back. And which we're witnessing.
Yeah, it's the biggest. Like the belt's so huge. It's just the biggest.
It's huge.
Oh, it's so
I feel
dumb.
like the side plate parts of it are as big as a normal belt's front plate.
Honestly, that's probably an apt way to describe it because the front plate is huge. And it's just like the biggest waste of everything. It's the most Saudi thing I feel like they could do. It's like, and then I saw something talking about it, and I guess I'll rant about it now. It's like them talking about the prestige of this. Prestige for what? Why? It's like do you remember the 2A Mountain trophy?
No.
Exactly. Remember that match where it was like the Gauntlet and AJ won, but then the Taker came back and randomly won it, and that set up the Boneyard match?
Yeah.
That's what that was. Or there's the World Cups, the one that who won the World Cup in 2018? Crown Jewel.
Shane McMahon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who
things.
won the tag team one?
No idea.
Since that never became anything.
Shane McMahon and tag team partner.
Good Brothers.
Oh, perfect.
Right? I think it was Good Brothers.
It's a feather in their cap.
So like all these like trophies and things that mean jack all, and they just talk them up over and over. Like the Greatest Royal Rumble. There's another belt that like when the joke is that Braun Strowman has held it for like thousands of days now.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I remember some spot where I think Drew McIntyre destroyed his trophy too or something. Anyways, like it's just these pointless things that are just blinged out for Saudi and just absolutely
meaningless.
Useless. Like
barely canon.
It's so dumb. It's not, and it's like it's just so dumb. I hate it so much.
Only other thing I had is that Rhea Ripley broke her orbital bone, right?
I did see that, yeah. I did.
Same as Scotty Barnes, the Raptors.
I had it that it wasn't.
Star.
I didn't know what the injury was, but that the angle on NXT was done to cover it.
Yes, and it most likely happened on the brawl between herself, Liv Morgan, and Rodriguez. So she was written off the story on NXT, but it wasn't shown on the actual show. It was like in extra footage or whatever. Because I was like, what? I watched the show and I did not see this.
Oh,
I saw them interact, but I didn't see the attack in the parking lot.
That's odd.
So that wasn't on TV. Yeah. So what I'm going to do in the news, because I don't really want to go in depth about any of it, is just run through Halloween Havoc.
Go for it.
So the opener was Oba Femi Tony D, which how did I feel about their first match together?
I think you liked it, right?
I loved it. Thought it was an awesome match. This one was like, to me, this was a kind of like a fine no DQ match, but like them getting from spot to spot and not really telling much of a story. Because I thought they had really good chemistry in the first match. It felt kind of rushed. Everything was basically 15 minutes on this show.
Because they always do that now, and it's like they're rushing for time, but then they realize they had too much time left, so then they start filling it with dumb crap.
Well, and I kept updating you, like in this show was 3 hours or whatever, an hour and a half was in ring time, or hour and you know what I mean? So it's like a 1-to-1 ratio of filler to
either
match.
have more matches or let them go a decent length. It doesn't make sense.
Or get rid of a lot of the filler. So this had zip ties again. This time they worked a little bit better. Stax and Luca Crucifino come out, get taken out by Femi. Rizzo checks on Tony in the ring. Femi starts to approach Rizzo.
Valiant babyface is outnumbering the heel.
That's what I'm saying.
Having his guys gang up on him.
She retreats to the apron, picks up a crowbar. Femi takes the crowbar. Tony escaped, runs Femi off the apron through a ladder bridge outside. Femi barely sells that, hits a power bomb shortly. Tony manages to kick out. Then you get the rest of the family attack Femi with a crowbar and a chair and a shatter machine on with a chair. And then a spine buster through a table. So that's how your baby faces win.
Yeah, like
a 4-on-1 beatdown with
ganging
weapons.
Up on this guy.
So I guess it protects Femi, right? So I gave it. I gave it 3.25. I thought the crowd was pretty into it, maybe more than I was.
I saw something that they're planning
it wasn't bad.
To maybe fast track him to Raw, which I kind of want him to have a run with the top belt.
Yeah, me too.
Especially because Trick sucks.
I'd like to see. Yeah, I agree.
But I can't blame them because Oba's elite. So
yeah, you even, and I don't think either of us are predisposed to liking powerhouse NIL guy. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, we'd be biased against that. But
yeah,
he's really good.
I was at first because I thought he was
He's
just
really
kind of
good.
a green big guy, and he kind of was meh in his debut.
You're like, oh, here comes another Odyssey Jones or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Or even Igwe and like all those guys.
Tyreek
just
Igwe
big
and Tyson
dudes.
DuPont.
Right.
But yeah, he's got something to him, and
he does.
He's definitely like, and he's what they want from these programs, right? Like,
yes,
he's
exactly.
the perfect specimen from these kind of things, and so they definitely need to do more like him because I think he's great, and
he's either main
really
title
well
on this show or elevate to another show. I'd rather he sticks around just because I enjoy him.
Around a bit for sure.
And I feel like there's something going on with him and Lions maybe, so that could be cool.
And I feel like you should fast track him to, like, I think he should be the one to take out LA Knight because I think honestly, like we were saying,
Adonisly, please.
Oh yeah.
Your mother's not a big fan of that game. I could tell.
Honestly. Yeah, oh yeah. When we were doing that, was that at Olive Garden? I think? Yeah.
And just even when you explain it, it's still, we look like idiots, right? Well, there's a wrestler.
I'd argue we look dumber after explaining
right.
it. Because now we've taken the time to explain it and it did nothing. But honestly, we were talking about Hendry and like how TNA is kind of waiting too long with them, right?
Feels like it.
And I was saying to you, I feel like they kind of did it with LA Knight because I feel like he won the U.S. title from Paul at this year's SummerSlam. He should have been in theory for the title last year's SummerSlam. Because remember last year's SummerSlam, he won that stupid Slim Jim Battle Royal that meant nothing.
They do not seem to like, Vince especially, but maybe still, when you get over on your own before they planned or more than they planned.
Right. So like,
it's like, how dare you?
They did kind of capitalize with having him challenge Roman, but he was never going to win, right?
No.
So I think they missed their mark on that. And now that he's having this run, he's still popular, but I feel like he's less popular. And also, to get to the triple threat at Blood Money with him, Mello, and Andrade, he was for some reason the referee for the 7th match because the best of 5 series, but again they tacked on 2 more and made it a best of 7 series, and then he disrupted the last one. So then I feel like a lot of people that I've seen are kind of annoyed that they just screwed the end of the best of 7 series.
Right.
So that's also probably hurting his popularity, right?
Yes.
And then so I think they've kind of like, this is all to say, I feel like Femi should beat him because I think Breaker's still on the rise, and him as Intercontinental Champion makes perfect sense.
It does.
So Femi should take the title off of LA Knight because I feel like Knight's really not.
You could do that.
He's not a marquee champion right now. I feel like they kind of missed their shot because last year they really should have capitalized, and it's one of those things where it's not going to last forever. Mm-hmm. And I fear the same for Hendry.
Yeah, I do too. They're waiting a bit long, and then I fear like as soon as his contract's up, he's going to be gone anyways.
Yeah, and maybe
even
when
though
he
you
gets,
have this agreement with WWE right now or whatever.
Maybe when he gets to NXT, he'll have a resurgence of popularity that NXT can capitalize on.
Maybe.
But in terms of TNA, like Hendry's the kind of guy they need because I feel like TNA kind of sucks ass sometimes. And I mean, they have the Hardys as their tag champs.
That is not a strong move.
Case in point, and they just lost ABC, so
right.
Which I guess we could have mentioned, but
yeah, Bay's hurt bad in the ring, neck surgery. Really like him.
Awesome.
Been following him since indie days, so I hope he
I want
recovers.
them to show up on NXT. ABC, they're awesome. I would
ABC Fraxium.
That's what I'm saying.
Fraxium and anyone cool right
Pretty
now.
much, yeah. Like we'll talk about it later, but I didn't watch Halloween Havoc because they weren't there, and then I watched their match on NXT. Like I'll follow them. I don't really care about much else. They are appointment viewing because if I could have gotten them versus Undisputed Era in their prime. Specifically, no offense to Bobby, but Strong and O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Because Strong is like a stamina machine, so him operating against Fraser would be insane. But like Fraxium versus Undisputed Era would have been insane.
We find out Regal's agreeing to be Dempsey's... Sorry, not Dempsey. My God, the other person he is facing. Alexis King, his corner man for the Heritage Cup. So is this their way of like putting father and son adjacent but not acknowledging?
Yeah, because remember they had that segment where no... quarter we're talking to Regal to that one thing. It's like they're kind of acknowledging it, but because Dempsey's never used the Regal name, they're kind of like...
I think we're going to get there.
Being cheeky about
Possibly.
Yeah.
Alexis King's on a weird path right now, man. I'll talk about it when I get there.
Yeah, I'd like Regal to manage them and be like kind of a more catch wrestling version of Blackpool.
Right. I think you could do that.
I wonder what Blackpool would be like if Regal was still around.
Cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez took on Julia and Vaquer, not Giuliano, as my autocorrect seems to have made it. So this one was won by the faces, obviously.
What?
Vaquer hit a really cool, like...
I saw that. It looked really nice. It looked really nice.
Looks really nice. So that was a 13-minute match, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought the finishing sequence was probably my favorite part. It would have been nice if these were established teams, right, with more of a story, because it's just like the two new women are together, and Jade and Roxanne, even though they used to have problems, are now friends because they're both bad guys, right?
That's pretty much it, isn't it?
It is. Pretty good physical match, though. I don't think Cora Jade's at the level of the other three, and that sort of was apparent, but she held her own and nothing was really glaring. I think a good showcase for Vakur and Julia, but I don't want them as a team. I don't feel like they go together. I don't feel like Vakur needs anybody right now. She's the one I'm most hyped on for whatever reason.
I think because we've actually seen her. I think you've seen more Julia than me.
I have.
Not even NXT speaking, but I feel like Vakur really showed out. And
yes, she did. She did. Right? And the lights go out at the end of this as the baby faces celebrate, and Zarya's in the balcony looking pretty cool. She is imposing and looks, I don't know, she just has a really cool look to her. They're doing cool things with her.
Has a Beth Phoenix kind of build.
And I know nothing about her. Yeah, she looks like just a powerhouse of a woman. Like taller than the average and stronger than the average.
Which is different.
I like it.
And that's good.
It is good.
Again, too many people coming in at once.
Yes.
But still.
Especially really prominent and like hyped people.
Yeah, and like renowned from other places.
Right, at once. People touch Boogeyman's head in a box is my next note.
I've seen that on, and
so,
like
it's so warm and it's moving, like and then everyone's so freaked out.
And then like
it was
like
so
literally
long.
the one I saw where it's Bianca and Cargill. Bianca's like got her finger in his nose. I'm like, you know what a human head feels like, right?
It was so long as well. So
did you actually
long.
watch it?
I did. Javon Evans talks to Cedric about slapping Fraser, and Cedric's happy that it's led to a tag title shot next week, basically. Bully Ray and some other guy shill for Halloween Havoc.
I'm pretty sure it's the other guy on Busted Open.
Way too much Bully Ray in my life right now, as I'm seeing him in multiple promotions.
As we're like trying to work our way through the MLP show.
By the way, Mike Bailey Takeshita's fantastic
killer
match of the year contender. Not saying it wins, but I will mention it on that day for sure. And both of these guys, remember I told you in this segment, they both forgot Zarya's name. Bully Ray starts saying something and then cuts to the other guy because Bully Ray can't remember her name and he doesn't know her name either, so it was pretty funny. Ambulance match, Holland and Andre Chase. Again, a lot of this stuff didn't look great because they were trying to use stretchers as a weapon at times and it wasn't very good. But anyways, we get a senton off an ambulance. Ridge is in the ambulance, door won't close. Chase hit with a decapitator into the underside of the ambulance door. DDT on the floor, into the ambulance, and it's over. Ridge wins in 14 minutes. I thought it was pretty plodding. Many of the tacks look kind of soft. We already had a no DQ match to open the show. I get that's kind of what Halloween Havoc's all about, but I don't think Ridge looked super vicious, and I don't think Chase looked super resilient, which I'm sure was the plan here, and I thought it was bland. 2 3/4 stars. Didn't love it. Anything else I want to mention here? Fraxium segment, I guess because they're telling a story, I'll mention that. Fraser apologizes for losing his temper with Javon Evans. Axiom's kind of like, I'm used to it by now. It's kind of what we do. Fraser's like, well, it's an accident. I can't help it. And Axiom disagrees. He's like, I think you can help it, but it's still not a big deal to me. Fraser calls him condescending and Axiom walks away. So they're doing this like constant.
When are they not bickering?
And that's what I put in my notes later when we talk about the TV show. It's moved past for me, when will they break up, to like, this is just how they are. And then that's when they'll catch me by surprise, probably, right? But it's now just kind of like, they
at least bicker. It kind of makes a breakup realistic, you know what I mean?
It's even just makes a relationship more realistic. They don't get along perfectly. They spend all their time together. They're going to have issues, but when it comes to in-ring, they're awesome. So I don't mind it at all. Ava segment, something about Dawn Marie, and I have 45 minutes of wrestling in an hour 33 of the show so far. Gauntlet match for the North American Championship. It was Nyx first, then the other one, and then Henley. JC Jane, sorry, is basically what happens, and I'm just going to skip to the finish. Nyx and Jane take turns getting on the apron. Henley gets knees up on a 450. Shining Wizard, and it's over. Henley's the new champion after 14 minutes. Henley grabs the mic to say something. The lights go out, and Zarya is behind them. Spear, F5. She cleans house, and look, I say she looks cool and big. The match did nothing for me. I thought it was really basic, not really executed well. I don't think there was anything super memorable. Slow pace. my note says I was bored by this match. It was like 3 basic TV matches stapled together for a pay-per-view, and it was a miss overall. In no way.
I actually did see this.
In no way did this feel like a pay-per-view match other than the title being involved. I said 2.25 stars. I thought it was not very good.
I'd argue it doesn't even need the title to feel like a pay-per-view match. Like, this could still be on TV.
It could be.
As
easily.
is.
It could be easily. Then it was the Devil's Playground match, right?
Which is Falls Count Anywhere.
Trick taking on Paige. It is Falls Count Anywhere. I'll just skip to the finish here. Where is it? Paige misses murdering Trick with the steps, gets rock bottomed onto the steps, low blow by Paige, returns the favor Trick Williams, and then another step attack. Trick hits Paige with the steps, a Trick knee to win in 15 minutes. So your main event, like return match, basically, what is this, last man standing or whatever, is like 15 minutes long. I don't know, man. It's some weird choices.
Sense. And Ego will never beat Trick, I guess.
And this was Trick match with weapons, plain and simple, right? It means it's fine, but nothing more. It's kind of also stale going into it. I didn't want to see Paige and Trick again. And his Trick's
Especially
matches,
because Trick's going to win, and that's just unappealing.
And his matches have a clear ceiling to them, right? And Paige hasn't been used correctly since he got here. He won the title by fluke.
Which was good, but then that kind of peaked there.
Booked to look weak in general.
He got pinned by Armenta 3 times. I think he got pinned by Hendry once. Like, the Phantom pins were constant annoyance.
And his promos leading into this were all about Trick hasn't bled and suffered and blah, blah, blah. Then there was nothing in this match, really. So Ego's edge through the announce table maybe was the big spot. I thought like basic PG violence, and it's just tame in comparison to things we see on other channels, right?
Talk about what happened after.
Yeah, so I gave that 3.25 stars. I thought it was fine. Then we get Ridge Holland attacking Trick after the match. Paige sort of takes exception to it and then starts to help. So is it like a heel alliance or
an excuse for a tag match at a specific show?
Right. And then Bully Ray comes and takes them both out again as we continue to book Paige super strong.
Yeah, like
Bully Ray can take out Paige with somebody
Bully
else.
Ray, who barely wrestles in an MLP tag match, is now like just decking both guys with punches.
And
then he gets beat up on NXT, so it's like, where do we draw the line?
It's a little bit of a foreshadow of my NXT weekly show is going to be chock full of ECW stuff, which is, if you listen to this podcast, nostalgia is not my thing. And it
sounds good for an ECW guy.
I was ECW mid to late 90s guy, but I don't.
But this is not even that it's on main roster and it's a nostalgia, it's on NXT.
And mid to late 90s was basically 30 years ago, so no need to see it.
It was, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's a long time ago.
Like, I'd say ECW probably started getting extreme around 30 years ago.
Yeah. So
94, 95.
I thought overall pretty weak show. I've had no match above 3.25 stars, no match longer than 15 minutes. The show delivered on my expectations, right? That's one nice thing I can say. I didn't expect a lot. I went C-. I didn't think there was anything anyone needs to go and see. And now, the only other thing I wanted to say was
2 things.
I watched Bound for Glory. Is that what it was?
That was the thing.
Vikingo Bailey was good, not amazing, because apparently Vikingo was either hurt going into it or got hurt during it and went through it. Grace, Masha Slamovich, wearing Masha's shirt in honor of her. She wins. Another awesome match between those two. I think I liked their previous one better. It was my match of the year in 2022, I think.
Sounds right.
But still a really strong match. And then I didn't even watch the main event.
I saw the ring was like painted because, Jeff Hardy is such an artist.
Very me style. Didn't care about the main title or the tag title match. I've always been like mid card, everything below the main card guy. So I didn't even watch
Except for NXT.
Didn't even watch those matches. But anyways, that's going to wrap that up. And we'll get into...
I only have...
Oh, sorry.
I have a couple more and that's it.
Go ahead.
Was details on Lashley's debut.
Oh, news still, right.
Yes.
Sorry. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
I forgot what it was too. Was that they had him signed before Grand Slam when MVP debuted, and then that they were considering Wrestle Dream, but they felt they had enough on the show, so they delayed it so that it would stand out.
Huh.
Which makes sense.
I guess so, yeah. That's
and
true.
It did stand out.
Because it felt like it was supposed to be then.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was going to be.
Me too. Most people did.
But I guess at least we got the Shelton Swerve match before then, so I'm happy with that.
That's true.
And then the other one was Vince McMahon reportedly starting up a new company that'll
you told me
serve as an entertainment hub. It'll, quote, provide financial backing to develop and produce film and TV products, said to not be planning anything similar to WWE. Former COO Brad Blum is involved, someone who resigned alongside Vince, came back when Vince came back and resigned when he left again. There was speculation that he would work with him again.
Gives Vince something to do in prison, I guess. That's cool. Keep him busy.
Also involved is Kristen Prouty. I don't know if that's how you pronounce her last name. She was WWE's Hollywood liaison until she was let go earlier this year.
Who? I know you named them specifically, but more like rhetorically. Who's getting involved in business ventures with Vince McMahon right now?
People who are people who were supporting him already.
I guess.
And they're said to be based out of LA. And to me, it seems like Vince trying to get into entertainment like he's always wanted. Like, I think
movies and stuff, yeah.
I think if his dad wasn't a wrestling promoter, he would never have anything to do with wrestling.
He would rather do movies and entertainment.
He would rather be Disney than WWE. Like, I think he always wanted WWE to be the wrestling version of Disney, and like he was always saying sports entertainment, never wrestling, right? And it seems like now he's just finally cut out the wrestling part and doing the entertainment shtick he's always wanted. Like, I think if wrestling wasn't already around him, like he would never. Like,
I don't
he wasn't
think
a wrestling
he wouldn't
fan.
gravitate to it at all.
He would never have gravitated anywhere near it.
I don't think so either.
Which would
have been great.
But also then I wonder where wrestling would be today.
True.
Maybe no AEW. So maybe there's a.
We need Vince. A necessary evil. I guess literally.
Yeah.
So that's it for news. Sorry, I went into a full recap there. All right, so we'll get into talking about our first weekly review every week. That's not redundant. Our weekly review every week. It's good English. I do English good. Our
annual thing every year, you know?
That, exactly. Like, it's talking about this week's AEW Dynamite. All right, that might have picked up your Adam Cole baby there, but you can still, it's a good segue into the show that he's on, so let's talk about it.
That he sucks on.
It's not great. I mean, in-ring was fine. We'll get to that.
I just mean his thing.
I know. His storyline is not your favorite.
Yes.
Not anyone's favorite that I've seen, but anyways.
They had like this cool Halloween intro because it's the Friday Night Dynamite, so I thought that was kind of a nice change of pace, and also not Moxley intro.
WCW vibes to the opening package. Not in a complainy way, just like I'm getting a little nervous because TK seems to be inching towards some WCW stuff, but for me that's a bit of nostalgia that I didn't hate, so because I usually do.
It's not nostalgia at the expense of anything else, so at least it's not like bringing a bunch of old people on your developmental show,
right?
For example, just random.
Although they are bringing in old people, and on this very episode,
ooh,
I wouldn't call Lashley young.
Oh, I guess, but he's not. At least he can still do stuff, and he's not. It's not for a nostalgia pop, at least.
No.
We get a Blackpool vignette. They're showing leaving the arena from last week, and Claudio says Mox built this place, and they won't let it be ruined by a bunch of punks. We hear Orange Cassidy, though, ordering the video to be turned off, and he's going to the ring with a mic. He said normally he doesn't do this, and it's not who he is, and he's not a leader because it's not who he is. But he talked about watching Chuck get his neck crushed in a chair last week, and he spoke about how he was surrounded by people he shouldn't have been. He was surrounded by the future of AEW and said they have no idea the danger they're in, and they don't know how dangerous Moxley is. He said he knows what he needs to do, and there's no future if Moxley has his way. He talked about how Moxley doesn't need AEW, but Orange Cassidy does, and he's nothing. He doesn't exist without AEW, and there's no us without AEW. He talked about how he had to cut the head off the snake and stop this, and he'll do it alone to protect everybody. He's going to do it by challenging Moxley for the world title at Revolution, and he'll take the symbol of his company and what it represents by taking it out of Moxley's bag and putting it in his backpack, which I
nice.
kind of like.
Yeah.
He told Moxley to let him know because he's not hard to find, because he's here in the ring every single week because he's freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. He said, and he'll be the next AEW World Champion, and he still doesn't need a catchphrase.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job of being the reluctant leader here, and he was along.
Yeah, exactly what we were kind of expecting, right?
And along the way, trying to put over the young talent at the same time, which is smart. So, I caught myself kind of going maybe he's being a little bit over dramatic here about the stakes or whatever involved. But then you have to remember, they did almost murder Danielson with a plastic bag.
They murdered his best friend to call him out. Basically
broke his neck. So it kind of seems like a proportionate response when you really think about the context. So
especially for a muted guy like him, a more understated guy.
Yeah, and
I think it's more appropriate.
For him, he seems to know what Blackpool's plan is, right? But he didn't give us any details either. other than like it's obviously going to be awful. So I thought he did a good job, and I'd like that they ended with a glimpse of regular Orange Cassidy, right? To remind us, like, this is out of character for him. This is such a serious threat to him that he has to sort of leave his...
Yeah, I like that.
Go beyond his normal character.
Yeah, I like that he's having to step out there. And I always enjoy when he shifts in that more serious side and shows that he is capable of that kind of range.
Yes.
Because it doesn't always come up, but I like that he does it when it's necessary. And he was straightforward here, and he finally steps up as expected. I like that Mox is kind of forcing him to. He delivered it all well. Like, I do enjoy his promos when he really steps into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he is a big success thanks to AEW, so he's like a strong guy to beat Mox since he has before. And given their history, I'm definitely looking forward to this match. Like, I think they have some good chemistry together.
Like, no shot he's winning, obviously, but match will be cool.
I'm at least happy that he's like a worthy challenger. You know what I mean? And he's to that point.
And to line up the first challenger to Mox as a guy that will just take a ton of punishment, like, it's
Cassie's
a
great choice. Yeah.
And then you're gonna, as we think, you're gonna. Well, our thing is you're bookending it with the two best with that, right? It's starting with Cassidy, and it's going to end with Darby Allin. Yeah. So,
and I
smart.
think it's the part that interests me the most usually in this is that Blackpool's methods have worked in a way, because like it's fired up Cassie as intended. It's fired everyone else up as intended, because now everyone's hell bent on ridding AEW Blackpool and making things better, which is kind of Moxley's goal. Like it's like the one line in the Batman movie that came out a couple years ago. It's like, I think it was towards the end, something about Gotham. It's like, it's got to get worse before it gets better, right? And I think that's kind of Moxley's philosophy to everything.
I think it's interesting. Yes, it's this interesting situation where people rallying to take him out is almost what he's intending, because that's going to improve the company.
Yeah, because in his view, there's like a lot of egos running around, people just laying dormant, doing nothing, right? So now,
he needs to motivate them.
If he makes things worse, now all these people they can't lay dormant anymore. They have to step up and start acting, which we see more of this week. And so I like that, and I like that it's firing up Cassie in a way, and like we'll see later, this is quite literally Mox's intention, right?
And yes, it's starting at the lower card, but that doesn't mean that's where it has to stay, right? Like, same with you debut a new tag team, you start them beating jobbers, then enhancement talent, then mid-carders, right? So
pretty much.
It's not, I don't know. I know people are critical of it, but it's because it's hard to, people are like, well, what's the rest of the roster and stuff doing? But I mean, that's kind of how wrestling works. A lot of these stories are kind of
independent. You can't always be encompassing everybody just because that's the most logical thing.
Or you go too far, and then it's in everything, and it's too much.
NWO.
Yes.
Right?
So, yeah, I thought this was good.
And it kind of reminded me of his fired up promo to Moxley before All Out last year, but before Moxley took his title, the international title. And it felt in a similar vein to that. I like that one a lot better, because I just remember that being... And also, then I was sad when he lost the title.
Yeah.
But I remember that promo being really good, too. And he did the I don't need a catchphrase thing. Like, so that kind of felt like a good callback to that for me. So I really enjoyed that, for sure. So I like this to start. Then we got a quick bit from Renee and Camille. It really wasn't much. Like, she's just talking up how Camille's like a sure thing to win here. And, like, it was just about as good as usual.
Well, Renee asked the dumbest question ever, right? Didn't she say, like...
And she asked, like, what's your prediction?
Yeah, what's your prediction for the match between your muscle and somebody else? Come on, Renee.
You know what? I feel like this is where Camille loses. Like,
yeah, like I don't
got full confidence in her this time.
I pay for her services in theory or whatever, but like, pretty sure she's not gonna win, right?
Hey, that would have been a smart like.
Well, yeah, it would have been a good.
Would have been a good bet. So that was whatever. Then we go to Adam Cole versus Buddy Matthews, who I will refer to as Murphy, and I'm doing it on purpose.
It's Matthews in my notes, but we'll see when I talk about him. I'll probably just say
I wrote Buddy Matthews in the match match heading for me, because that just feels weird to do it. But then I wrote Murphy for everything else.
Fair enough.
It's just how I roll, and I like.
And
I
this
just like
is where I
better.
noticed Matt Menard is on commentary, and like I remember I said, what was the name of their team? I loved Everrise. I remember you hated them.
I just thought they were boring.
But as a commentator,
I think they're fun in AEW, but
he annoys me more than anything on commentary. Like, he
more
doesn't
than Nigel.
Add it. Not Nigel now, but peak Nigel was frustrating.
Nigel I actually enjoy now, because he says some things that I think are really funny.
Yeah.
But especially now that, like, not only that we have context for the dancing thing, and like we know it paid off, but also it's kind of over.
He also, Nigel, had and I'll talk about it in Highspots and Restholds, had a sick sit down with Wheeler Yuta.
That's true. That was
from
really cool.
Collision. We'll get there.
And then Mariah May.
Yes, and Mariah May cooked too.
So Cole hops off the apron early on, like he kind of like dropped off.
It made me a little uncomfortable.
That's fair, because let's remind everybody, the ramp he jumped off of is apron level. So it's quite literally the exact
Yes.
height where his ankle shattered. So it's perfectly feasible that could have happened again.
And as somebody who's had, like, I ruptured my Achilles tendon. So going back.
Just like running baseball, right?
So going back to doing the things you did.
The exact thing.
Is a bit of a mind trick you got to get through.
He tweaks it and he's selling that. So, yeah, that was definitely a scare there.
It was.
And then Murphy nails a running PK from the apron. Murphy with the superplex, he hangs on, kind of a la Seth Rollins, so I think that's kind of interesting. Cole counters the follow-up into a patella drop brainbuster, which they call a neck breaker.
Nah, that was weak. That was Excalibur too, wasn't it?
I think so. It's more apt when they call the Ushigoroshi a neck breaker, like the fireman's carry into the same thing, because at least that's more, like, it just makes more sense.
But it's like any trauma to the neck is not a neck breaker.
Yeah, this is more akin to a brainbuster, which is why it's the patella drop brainbuster, because you're dropping them on the patella up here. Neat.
Gotcha.
DET on the apron from Cole. Murphy sold that really nice. Some of his sells I really enjoy. Like, he takes the Heat Seeker here from Cole for 2. Also looked really good. Much ankle targeting from Murphy leads Doc Sampson to check on Cole. He assists Cole away up the ramp as it seems like we're done here. Murphy grabs a mic. He asks, asking if Cole runs away when the going gets tough. He said this is what he meant when he called him fragile and says the old Adam Cole would have fought, but then he takes a page from the WWE Women's Division and calls him a little bitch. Cole comes back and the match continues. Murphy hits his signature strike combo. I love that, but there's the part where he does like the palm strikes in the midsection, like soul kick to the gut, up kick, and then he'll stomp the foot. And so then when he does that, instead of following with usually he follows with a pump knee, he just stomps the foot multiple times. So he kind of does his usual thing, but places emphasis on targeting the foot again. Right. So I kind of like that.
Yep.
Switch up. Cole nails 2 super kicks, can't run for the last shot, which I will still call it. They call it the boom, but I just think that's lazy.
Boom's lazy.
It makes sense, and I don't know what else you could call it, but it just feels lazy. And because the ankle, he can't run. Murphy catches him with a pump knee and a curb stomp for 2. Cole's giving a towel to forfeit, but throws at Murphy, nails some super kicks, which super kicks are on point here.
They were.
Pump kick, last shot to the face from Cole for 2, which Excalibur called a running knee, but it was A, Shining Wizard, B,
it was.
The boom is a Shining Wizard to the back of the head, so it's the same move, just to the front. Like, it's still the last shot, you know what I mean? It's just...
Or boom.
Yeah, but, like, it's just, I feel like ever since NXT, he's gotten so in the motion of doing the knee pad down, back of the head move, that now, if it's just the, not only knee pad up, but... Or the knee pad might have been down at this point, but just like what I'm saying, running to the front of the face, like it just they don't call it as the last shot anymore. And
no.
It was the same thing in NXT too. I think Morrow wouldn't always
back
call it.
Back of the head is special.
I guess so. I guess that's the blunt force trauma kind of thing. Not LA Knight's move though. Murphy counters a Panama Sunrise with a knee, hits a buckle bomb and another curb stomp for 1 count as Cole fires up. Super kick into Panama Sunrise from Cole. Murphy falls out of the ring. Panama Sunrise on the floor from the apron. And then Cole does eventually win with the last shot to the back of the head. After the match, Cole grabs a mic and says Murphy reminded him who he really is, and he thanks him.
That's nice.
Yeah, they actually do shake hands. The lights go out, and now Cole is... I'll make it sound weird. Now he's holding hands with Malachi Black.
My note says handshake switcheroo, and it's Malachi. Yeah,
I find it funny because he hasn't been wearing face paint in matches lately, which I find odd. But then he's wearing some face paint on the under his right eye.
So listen, if they want to make House of Black's new thing as like they bring the best out of people by beating the hell out of them or whatever, like at least it gives them something to do.
I like this match. It was good as expected.
I thought it was a really good match.
I thought Murphy looked like a beast. He's awesome. I love him. The ankle injury for Cole also gave him some more openings, allowed him to look better and get in some more offense on a weekend Cole, and he's jacked to the gills right now.
There was
he is beef.
Contrast of physiques
for sure.
I will say,
and contrast in tans too.
But
I didn't love the lulls in the action when Cole was selling, but it did make sense. So it's more of a nitpick, I think.
And I think it also allows him to work not a crazy pace, because this is like his ankle was absolutely destroyed, and I know he's coming back, so obviously he's cleared and whatever, but just to give him
it is still,
I thought he did a lot here and looked really good considering he's been off for a long time and his ankle is like rebuilt with lots of hardware and stuff, right? And Buddy's awesome. He's underused, and I feel like he's bolting for WWE as soon as he gets a chance, and I can't say I blame him. Not a big fan of the doctors checking on people in matches, but that's how it goes.
I know you would say that, but I feel like it's a little better here considering last time he was around. Like, he just absolutely killed his
14
ankle.
months on the shelf. So.
Right? So I think it's a little understandable here.
Buddy is an offensive juggernaut.
He is a juggernaut. I love him so much.
No offense to Jordan Grace. Love her too.
I love him so much. I would like him to go to WWE if that means he'll get better treatment, but I'm not sure. Like, would he end up in, not Judgment Day, but I guess affiliated with Ripley or like...
It's the lack of charisma and speaking.
Yeah, which is why I wish he was with Callis. Because he would be such a beast in that group. It would be crazy. New Aussie Open. He's Aussie.
There you go.
You could do it.
You could do it.
You could make Aussie Open first. Imagine you made Aussie Open a trio and it's him and Aussie Open.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. Him and Fletcher in the same vicinity would be insane. But I absolutely love him. I've always loved him since like the 205 Live days. He's just so cool. I watched it recently, him versus Black from TLC 2019, just a random. It's so weird that in the Vince era he would put Black and Murphy in a singles match on a pay-per-view.
I know.
But like that match was great. And so yeah, he's great. He's just such a beast when they let him cut loose, and even here he looked great. So I always hope for more from him. Mm-hmm. And they don't give us enough of House of Black in general, so the fact that he got a solo match here, I'll be happy with.
A lengthy one.
A lengthy one, too. And I never expected him to win, so I'm happy with what we got.
Yep.
And Cole looked good for his first match back. Nothing crazy here, but he did his stuff well. The super kicks were crisp. And he got a quality win. Cole versus Black seems next, which it sucks Black will lose as well. But again, that should be another great match. And they've already had matches together that were really good. They had that Extreme Rules match at TakeOver Philly, which was the same show as Gargano Andrade.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's all right. So they have some good chemistry too. So I was really happy with this, and again, I'll take more House of Black any day, especially Murphy. He's my boy.
He is your boy.
Then we get a private party interview with Christopher Daniels. He talks to them about him and Kaz being in the same position a couple years back, or I think it was 3 years back, and they lost to the Bucks, and he let Kaz down, which changed their friendship. And he's not even here anymore. Obviously, he's Elvis or something. I don't know.
Basically.
He says they can be tag champs, but the Bucks will do anything to keep the titles, and he tells them to consider what they're risking. Zay says history won't repeat itself, and they will leave tag champions. It was solid. Seems to be building to a title change. It was a nice callback, actually.
I thought so, too.
I did actually forget about the match, but once he mentioned it, I was like, oh, yeah.
You were like, that match was really good.
That was actually a really good match, because I remember that was the time where SCU were still decently prominent. We were kind of out on Daniels, kind of like we're on a Jericho now. Like,
yeah.
He was just kind of losing his touch, and we were like, whatever. But I think that was the one where I'm pretty sure it was him who bled buckets in that match.
I think you're right.
So I think, ironically, it was on the same show as the First Blood and Guts, where Jericho took the fall and...
Oh, yeah, that devastating fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do remember that match actually being, like, really good.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of fun to remember, because I actually did forget about that match.
And if they intentionally did the Zay turning and being a singles guy as a red herring, then they did a good job, right? They added a little bit of... Because otherwise, whenever they're like, if we lose, we split up, it's kind of like, you're probably not losing. But there has been, even I've been like, kind of seems like they're angling Zay to be a singles guy.
And then they mentioned time where they did split up after a loss, right?
Yep.
And not even that, but just also to the Bucks, which I think was also... So I thought that was a really nice connection.
It pushed this story forward, I think, a little bit.
I think so.
Right
like,
before the match.
These are the kind of things that would be nice to have more of.
Mm-hmm.
But I did like that they at least put some effort into putting something there. So I thought for like a short bit there, this was actually quite useful.
Nice.
Cole promo in the doctor's room. He's with the other peeps. He talked about saying that was a tough match, and now it seems like Malachi Black's on his radar. He said he doesn't blame MJF for shattering the ankle, because, MJF had such a hand in that.
Right, exactly.
I would argue MJF has as much of a hand in Cole's ankle injury as Jamie Hayter does in Penelope Ford's injury. Like, if not, MJF has
in the same ring together.
Slightly, pretty much. Yeah. Like, MJF maybe has slightly more involvement because they were friends, but that's, even then, it's not his fault Cole came out. No. You know what I mean? So, again, I rest my case.
Sorry, I'm trying to order Korean food. Your mom's at a Korean restaurant.
Anything good?
I don't know. What do you want?
What would I... Do they have, like, mandu or something? I'd take some fried mandu or something like that.
Okay.
This
is good professional radio.
I don't know if they have some
Remember when we started, I would never have this conversation. No. Because I had visions of, like, doing things. Now I'm just like, I don't care. We'll order food while we're on. I don't care.
I feel like it's better if we call it out, though, because at least then we're still making, like...
I like Korean food.
We're making use of it, though. It's not like... You know what I mean? It's like, it's part of the
thing. Entertaining. Adds depth to our characters.
If there's some sort of noodle thing too, I would take that. I don't know if I'll have time for it, but
and or a noodle thing. Okay,
like
keep
udon
talking.
or something. You know what I'm saying. Cole mentioned MJF turning on guys like Wardlow. That is the only time I'll say his name. I'm very careful with this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we talked about killing someone again too. Okay,
You did.
Hold on.
You did.
Hold on.
I've only killed one person.
I don't remember who, but it was
I
like
don't either. Somebody who's been absent a long time.
Well, obviously, that's the joke. Like we're like we can only kill someone on air.
Yeah.
So like Trent,
If
I
you
may
say
have
it
murdered
here,
Trent already.
They die. We say it in our private life, they don't die.
I may have murdered Trent already. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'll
take Brody Lee. That was me.
That was you. That is that will be forever morbid.
Yeah.
He talks about him turning on guys like Wardlow. That's okay. That's it. Guevara and Garcia. I don't remember him specifically turning on Guevara because it was like, is that referring to when he
Guevara flip-flopped so many times back and forth, it's hard to really.
I want to say it's like, because remember there was the time where MJF and Muscle Dog Guy.
Dog Guy. Oh, you can't say it again.
I was thinking War Dog.
Yeah.
They were in Inner Circle, and there was a whole thing where like MJF was genuine. So like, remember it was honestly kind of like Guevara was Jey Uso and MJF was Sami Zayn. But like MJF was always good. Remember then he turned on them and formed the Pinnacle?
Yes. Okay.
So there's that. I think that's what I was referring to. Cole said MJF needed to be taught a lesson, and it needed to happen. He said he cares about the AEW locker room. He cares about his company. So that's why he did it. He's just a company guy. Cole said he's going to get his hands on MJF at Full Gear, and, quote, we will get our hands on him. Referring to the whole crew there, I guess.
Yeah.
When he gets his hands on him, he'll teach MJF a lesson, and he said 1 down, 2 to go. So I'll let you go because I'm going to go off again.
So yeah, like my thing was that I really enjoyed the match Cole just had and kind of forgot about the stupidity of all of this.
Because like obviously he's a better heel because most people are, and also heel Adam Cole in NXT was peak, but he's a good babyface. Like when he was a babyface with MJF.
He's a good actor, I say.
Yeah,
right?
when he was a babyface when everything made sense, he's a good character. Like he's a good babyface. It's just he shouldn't be a babyface here.
And so this brought it all rushing back, right? He's working really hard to turn this into chicken salad,
He's trying his best.
But it's like as you've pointed out, the devil is now supposed to be a babyface against the same person he was the devil with. So
yeah.
And part of this speech, I thought, seemed to make them, could they possibly be a future target for Mox and his crew? And if so, that seems like a from jobber to mid-card step at least, right? If their next task is these guys. So you
consider the Kingdom a higher standing?
Mid-card. Well, more like Roddy and Cole are. And they're dragging up.
Nope. You consider Matt Taven and Mike Bennett above like Top Flight and Dark Order, and you.
The other two bring the average
Garcia.
of the group up, not those two on their own.
Sure. No,
the collective.
If that's how you want to defend yourself, whatever helps you sleep at night. Yeah, all right? Sure.
So I don't know. I don't need reminders of this storyline.
So the dynamic's still out of whack. So Cole's saying, "Oh, it's okay. I turned on him because he would have done it to me."
Yes.
That's not the amount of assumptions you have to make. And yes, it's MJF, so like that's a somewhat fair assumption. But the amount of assumptions you have to make to like orchestrate this whole manipulative plan with a group of your friends to turn on this guy just because you're like, oh, right. Obviously, that's not why he turned on MJF, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're rolling with his logic here,
sure,
right? So let's just say we're thinking like him, and we're like, the amount of assumptions you need to make to do all that. Just because you think he's going to turn on you, or like you're like, oh, he would have done it, and then like he said,
could have just not dealt with him at all.
I know. Again, we could have let this alone, and it would have been fine
from the beginning. Even though
that's true,
instead of like orchestrating this entire thing, just don't.
Yeah, like, and then my favorite part was he said, "I don't need to explain myself."
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
You kind of do.
Or like
you can't.
You can, but you still need to.
Yeah.
And nothing can say this. And like then what? Like now they're trying to frame it as like what they did to MJF was necessary, and they did it for AEW, and they're righteous. Like Excalibur says, they think they walk the righteous path.
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't.
It's so ridiculous, and it doesn't like. I want to say that ever since the shaky first promo back, they've been digging a deeper hole, but I don't even think that's true. They've just been stagnant. Like it's not getting. It's just
they're
might
just
be getting
spinning
worse,
their tires.
Yeah, it's like you got your golf cart stuck in the mud, and you're just trying to get out, and you can't get out for the life of you. It doesn't make sense to get out, and you just can't.
You just can't.
It's not good. Then we hear from Kyle Fletcher, who he looks like
super young.
Matt Damon.
He looks really young.
He looks like what's the movie where have you seen the movie where he's singing the song Sky Doesn't Know? What's movie is that?
I
think it's
Euro
Trip or something. Hold on, let me. Is Euro Trip?
So it's funny Euro because with his head shaved and stuff, he looks back to being young, like when we met him, but like with 40 extra pounds on.
Yeah, he's
muscle.
Just beefier now. Yeah, so Euro Trip was I think the one with Matt Damon, and he played on. So he kind of reminds me of Matt Damon, which is weird because I don't even see a lot of Matt Damon movies, except for what was the one? I don't. Oh, I did watch Ocean 11 recently.
Nice.
I love that. Anyways, he says, as promised, he stands here ready to meet Ospreay face-to-face to talk. He introduces him multiple times to nothing. Then, much to my surprise and delight, Ozzy opens music hits with the UE Trons, the United Empire Trons, and Mark Davis is back.
I feel like there was a chance we might have killed him, but he's alive. Because I'm sure we would have been like, where's he?
We've mentioned it multiple times. I think more than anyone else, me and I guess we have been waiting for this for a while because... Big Aussie Open fans here.
You know when you're just attached to something because we saw them before they were kind of anything. We say it all the time. We met them. We met Fletcher when he was like probably 19 or something. Yeah. How old would he have been?
I don't know.
What year was that?
That was 2019 in August.
I'll do a little research.
But like I feel like I would have liked them anyways because they're awesome. They're really cool in ring. But it is nice that we saw them back in the day, right?
So he's 25 right now.
So what's that?
You said we saw them in when?
2019.
So that's 5 years ago. So he was 20 probably.
Oh, wow.
Basically.
Wait, when's his birthday?
December 24th.
So he would have been 19.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Just a wee baby.
Yeah. So Fletcher went for a hug. Davis stopped him. Davis said Ospreay's laid up at home. Fletcher knows he's not here because of what he did to him. He said they both consider Will a brother. He doesn't know who he's looking at now. It's Matt Damon. He said... he had opened his eyes to the truth, or Fletcher said that, sorry. Fletcher said Ospreay never cared about either of them, and Will used them to help his career. He tried to get Davis to join the Cal Swim, saying he always kept the spot for him, which I liked, because that's like, not like, since, even though Fletcher's kind of had this singles career renaissance, or not renaissance, but like rise, I guess, that he's kind of keeping it open for Davis, like, so that it's not like, oh, I didn't forget about you, I did always keep a spot for you, and Callis is like ready to accept them. So I like that because that could easily be setting up how Davis is ready to just,
and even if it's not true, it makes sense for Callis to say that in the moment because he's a slime ball
and he's gonna help.
Fletcher. And you're here and you're looking in shape, so hey, I have a spot for you, obviously.
Yeah. So I like that. Davis wasn't interested. He said Fletcher destroyed the United Empire, and he walked away. And Fletcher said the day would come when he has to make a hard decision, and he's proven that he has no problem cutting the past loose.
Yeah. I made a quote of who said newly shorn. I thought that was just a funny way of describing
that was
Fletcher.
Funny. It feels like an Excalibur quote.
It was nice to see Davis back because we really do like them as a team. I think we're beyond that now, probably, but I would not agree with commentary that he got a good reaction. I felt like he got like lukewarm.
Which sucks, but I wouldn't expect much. It's not everyone's a big fan of Aussie Open.
They weren't super established when Davis got hurt.
Yeah, that's the thing. They haven't had much of a run in AEW.
He was the lesser known of the duo to begin with. Like everyone seemed to gravitate towards Fletcher in that group too, or in that pairing. Anyways, Fletcher continues to impress me with his mic and character work.
I thought he sounded strong again for sure.
Davis makes sense as the guy kind of stuck between Fletcher and Ospreay, and obviously leaning towards Ospreay at this point. Fletcher,
I don't think it'll stay that way.
Has clearly changed, right? Even though as a heel, he's like, he hasn't changed at all. Like that's just the heel logic, and that's fine there. I like that he ended this kind of with like a maybe not so thinly veiled threat, basically. Like it's kind of,
but still keeping the door open. Like I'm not gonna do anything yet, but if you make me, I don't have a problem with it.
Like I'll give you some more time to make the decision, but you better make the right decision, sort of thing. And they know they have something big in Fletcher, and I think like 2025
Fletcher is a huge dude.
Sky's the limit for him if he's presented correctly.
I think guys like him and Takeshita are where you bank your money.
If you really do want to develop the future and get the next generation and get like, you're not just repackaging people from WWE, then that he is one of those guys. Yeah. Him, Takeshita for sure.
Fletcher's definitely a total package. Takeshita, as long as you keep him with someone like Callis.
Swerve to me.
Swerve is great because Takeshita's in ring, he's just absolute money. Fletcher's money all around because like he's proving his worth on the mic here because I think in ring Fletcher's always been money.
Right.
Swerve is money all around. I think Ospreay is still super young, so he's I think Osprey's the next like the guy.
Those are the four.
MJF even, because he's like what, barely 30 or something.
Yeah.
Like he's not going anywhere.
You have so many guys under 35 who can be main eventers, like perennial main event guys. So they're
He's got to keep them around
in really good shape. The company, as long as they execute.
I think Fletcher's a guy.
My God, Hangman's 33.
Oh,
Osprey's
that's
31.
Great. I love that because I love Hangman.
Right, so
yeah, you keep Hangman around for because obviously Hangman's proving his worth. How old is Switchblade? I'm
embarrassment
curious.
of riches.
Look that up because Switchblade is also another guy you got to be keeping around.
32.
You got Switchblade for another like few years or so.
Okada's only 36.
That's not horrible either, but and like because like what Priest is like early 40s and again, he's still going strong.
Let's just point it out. If we were talking about women, how crazy this would be. So we'd be like, 36.
Right, but like
they've created this.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And I could see Fletcher easily getting a mid-card title within the next year for sure.
For sure.
I think
he has to.
I think he needs to, yeah. I want Takeshi to hold his belt for a while, so I'm going to rule that one out, but like have Fletcher go workhorse, like heel workhorse obviously, but go workhorse, killing people, elevate the TNT title back up, or have him take Okada's belt and like have him defend that title without Callis, you know what I mean? Have him stand on his own a bit.
Babyface. You could have Okada Fletcher.
Babyface Okada. That I don't know, man. I like Okada the way he is. But even if he doesn't win, I still would love Takeshi to win.
People don't know why I went creepy voice on that. It's because I'm predicting Bucks turn face, and you're like, hell no.
I would hope Takeshi still wins the Continental as double champion.
Let's belt him up.
That's what I'm saying. 2 titles.
Belts all the way to the bottom.
TOE knows no limits.
That's
but
right.
Even if Takeshita wins, put Fletcher in the C2. Why wouldn't you put Fletcher in the C2?
I enjoy how your friends who don't even watch wrestling know your Takeshita over everything theory. I heard Hudson say that.
Yeah. I've been relentlessly posting about it.
That's what
you got to be
on.
Unashamedly.
Not on FNS though, but on your own not posting where you should post it and people might pay attention.
No,
you're the worst marketing department in the history.
I put it everywhere. You got to let everyone know you live and die by Takeshi, but like, because then you could, because Callis clearly has no problem putting his people against each other, right? Like,
no.
Remember he had Fletcher face Osprey.
Yes.
He had Takeshi face Osprey. Yes. So if you put Takeshi and Fletcher in the same block in the C2, and I would love for them to face off again because they had a match on Rampage. Really, Rampage. And if they're in the collision block, not only will I cry, but I will find them. I'll go to the ends of the earth for Takeshi matches. But I haven't even talked about that. I've barely talked about the actual segment. But I was... What?
So, when you Google somebody and it brings up like other questions about them. So it's like, who is Jay White's wife? Nobody I know. So then I was laughing at this question. Is Jay White related to a bushwhacker?
No, he's not.
Like, ha ha ha, that's so
not.
stupid. Jay White is the grandson of bushwhacker Luke. I gotta fact check that.
No, he's not. No, he's not. That's crazy. They are New Zealanders.
I know.
That's insane.
So my first source is Twitter, so I'm like, let's double check that one.
That's crazy. Okay, I'll talk about this and then we'll come back to that.
My mind is blown.
I was happy to see Davis because I forgot what he sounded like, but I thought he sounded good. And his point of view was what I expect. Is that the tree background? Is that?
That's fine.
It's just a screensaver?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I think he'll eventually join Fletcher, but it's not happening straight away. We could finally get Aussie Open on the run I've been begging for. Have Private Party win the belts and have them go for a run. And then, boom, you got Reborn Aussie Open to take them because that'd be nice. And Aussie Open's theme being back was nice. I really want them to reunite and have Fletcher have like a nice tag run before he goes up to mid card. Like, that's okay. We can do that.
We could do that.
What? You find anything else? There's no way that's not true. If
I
it's
believe
just like
it is.
That's crazy. How has that never come up anywhere? That's insane.
It is strange.
That's such a weird lineage.
My mind was blown.
How do you go from like the Bushwhackers to like Jay White, who I would put up as one of the best in the world right now?
But it's also, why is it so hard to find confirmation on the internet? But anyway, you carry on.
No way.
I'll chime in.
That's crazy. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Oh, wow.
And not much in the world of wrestling, like trivia wise, because we're what? How many episodes into the Vince thing? Like 4.
Yeah.
And we're still like, I have not learned anything. Not that I'm not being entertained, and I think it's a really good vehicle for non-wrestling people but like, and this is not a flex by any means intentionally, because it's not that impressive, but we're both like, there has not been anything I didn't already know.
Yeah. I think there might have been 1 or 2 things that might have been like interesting to know, but nothing major. But speaking of White, I guess we'll go into the Hangman interview next. He bragged about hurting White so bad he spent 3 months at home. He said the White beat him at Wrestle Dream, and he'll give him credit for that. There's no redemption because they're only wins and losses. He said he knows White will go for his leg. And he said White doesn't know what he will do, like hitting him in the head with a steel chair, strangling his friends, lighting his house on fire, or breaking his ankle. He said at the end of Full Gear, when Paige beats him, he will stand over White with his hand raised. And Paige said that he would leave White hurt and with less than what he had before, and he'll leave White behind.
I told you in the moment, I thought it's kind of cool that heel Hangman is making his pre-existing injury an advantage, because he's basically like, well, I know what you're going to do, which is target my injured leg, but you don't know what I'm going to do. So I thought that was funny. Hangman's awesome. He's a top heel right now, performance-wise, maybe not booking-wise. He was a little bit more subdued here, right? But I also think that is fine, because I would be okay if the only time we get super mega psychotic Paige is Swerve, because that's the feud that will forever keep going on.
Pushes buttons,
right? And that'll get him to that level, and for everyone else, he can stay a notch below that. So I'm fine with him not being full madman at this point. Yeah,
it makes sense. He's still angry, but like not reasonably, but more reasonably pissed off, I guess. And I like that he also ignored the help he had in his singular win over Switchblade. And Owen, and he's always great, angry and obsessive, and I find it funny we have 2 Adams with injured legs right now.
Yeah.
Will Washington.
Will
right. Washington.
Right.
He's also using it to his advantage, like you said, which is intriguing. It may be smart, but may also be his growing insanity, and maybe that's a dumb thing, and just to call that out. And I like that he's threatening to choke a dude's friends or burn his house. He's like, oh, I could do this or that.
And that we have evidence.
And he's just like, that's just where we're at with Hangman right now, where he's just like, I might choke your friends or burn your house. That's just something.
Yeah.
I don't need much of a build for this to happen again. But this was killer as always. And we're not doing predictions yet, but I'm at a bit of a crossroads, because like, I don't know. I feel like Switchblade could be brought up to take on Mox next, and also I do kind of enjoy the fact that Hangman's incapable of beating him on his own.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I feel like Hangman winning is where this ends. So I don't know who wins at Full Gear. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
I lean towards Hangman.
I do too, just because of the trajectory he's on. But the thing is, we think, I know not everyone's a big Jay White fan, I think White could be on a similar trajectory too.
I think White is so money when you give him the chance. Even as a babyface right now, I think his promos are still so good.
People do not like his promos.
I don't understand that.
Or not like some people.
I don't understand that, because I think the way he delivers is just like slightly unique, and I love his promo style.
I like him too.
I really enjoy the way he speaks, and like just the
biggest compliment I can give him is I pay attention when he's speaking. There's sometimes where I'm like doing other things, or
I think I don't know if he's better than Pac or not, but I think that like it's not like Pac, where I think Pac's like his diction and word choice is like so distinct, and like that's part of what gets me from him. But with White, I just think he has a confident delivery to it, and he's just got like this.
He just comes across as a smart ass,
this
face
measured
or heel, and I
this
like
measured cockiness that I like, and like some of his word choices and just the way he delivers sentences. Like he is great, and I don't understand how people can't.
And he wasn't always like, he's very improved.
No, I think he's really come into his own, and there's a reason he was one of the top gaijin for New Japan at a time, right? Even when Ospreay and Okada and some of the top guys are still there, because I think a gaijin like Finley or Sabre are kind of only coming into focus because of the lack of talent right now. I'm not saying Sabre is not great.
He is.
Like, I think he's fantastic, and I've come to like him a lot more than I used to.
Me too.
But I also don't think, no offense, if some of the top guys were still there, I don't think he would have won the G1.
No, probably. Maybe. I don't know. It's possible
like
still.
If Ospreay was still there, or Okada, even, like, I don't know.
Still might have been Sabre's turn. I don't know.
That's fair, and I still think there's a time where he's still a top ish guy, but I don't think I'd have full confidence that he's winning a tournament or the title when
because it was pretty clear this year,
right?
Like it was like
you know what I mean?
him or who,
I just don't have
it's
full.
Not gonna be
if
Takeshita.
more of the top guys stuck around, I don't have full confidence that Sabre would have been able to carve out as much of a standing for himself,
right? And
so it does benefit him now. I'm just saying, it's not like I think Switchblade did enough to like really distinguish himself as a top guy, and like I don't understand how people don't see that because I think he's fantastic all around.
I'm with you.
Like I think. I'm really happy that he's still relatively young in terms of pro wrestling because I think he's such a complete player. And while not one of their originals, he's a great scoop for them. And I think eventually they got to give him his time because I think he's a ready-made world champion whenever they want him to. Because I thought he looked so great when he was parading around with MJF.
He did.
And I don't usually like that kind of shtick.
We don't like the steel property gimmick,
but he
it
did it so good, and I really loved that. The Bang Bang belt was a thing that I thought was funny.
He pulled it off like he almost believed he was the champion with it. He
did.
Yeah.
Like, so I think he believed.
It kind of worked.
He pulled it off really believable. And people really hated that match, too, when MJF was like one-legged and White still lost.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked that match.
It didn't bother me.
That was really good,
though.
Anyways, that's enough on my Jay White.
Yeah, you got to get to work, so don't be...
That's true. Next, we hear from Blackpool in the ring. Moxley said he knows Cassie won't appreciate what they're trying to do right now.
One of the commentators did call them Blackpool, too. I heard it. So
some people call them Death Riders, which I don't think is their thing.
I haven't heard anything.
But then, like, Dark Order and them are always calling them BCC.
Right.
So it's like, it's weird.
I think a commentator did as well.
I think they're BCC, and I don't have a problem
until
with
I
that.
hear otherwise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if anything, the only thing I've heard them called is BCC. Whether that's from wrestlers or not, that's what we've heard.
PCC for Pac.
Pac-Pool is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Death Riders works.
Yeah.
It feels a little cheesy to me.
And it feels a little too much
Moxley.
Reverent to Moxley.
I agree. I like Blackpool, and the thing I find cool about the Blackpool name is that it was because it was all managed by Regal.
Yes.
And he's not even here anymore.
That's why it's Pac-Pool. He's in it now.
And we should be reverent to him.
Correct.
But I love Pac-Pool. He said, you think Orange Cassidy challenged him, but he's the one that challenged Cassidy. And again, I like that notion that, like, Cassie's challenge was all part of the plan, right? Again, he's forcing that leader out of Cassie. Like, Cassie was literally saying that's not who he is and not who he wants to be, but he has to stop Moxley, and that's the plan.
You think you're acting out of your own free will, and you're not.
Your own agency, right?
I'm making you do this.
Yeah, I like that because
it's like mind games, too.
When I watched, I think it's I think his name's The Goldman on YouTube. I really like his videos on, like, Star Wars stuff and, like, just movies in general and whatever.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about the agency of characters, and, like, I don't remember the specific movie he's talking about, but certain characters, it's not like I think it was Osha in The Acolyte, right?
Yeah.
To go back to that, she doesn't actually have any agency. She's always just reacting to things happening to her. Like,
That's
she only
fair.
even ends up joining Kymir at the end to save her sister and to, like, you know what I mean? So the agency there, and I like that Moxley's essentially claiming he's taking the agency out of Cassie's decision.
That's right.
That Cassie's trying to step up is not his decision to do. It's that Moxley's forcing it out of him.
Mox is the puppet master, and everyone's just doing what he wants.
And Cassie's his meat puppet.
That's right. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So I really like that. Moxley said he freed Orange from distractions so he could focus on his goals, which again is demented but kind of true. Which I like.
Like, you're an amazing wrestler. Your character thing you do is kind of...
So he's forcing him to step away from that and taking out his best friend.
Yeah.
Pun intended, to get rid of distractions. And now Cassie's gunning for the top title, which is ideally what you should be wanting to do here, right? So again, Moxley's kind of right. They set this up when he took out Chuck last week. He said the people in EW think they're something, but that they are not. He said that if Orange wants him at Full Gear, that's fine. He said Orange won't fight him in the mountaintop because they'll fight in the valley, and that it's the valley he's willing to die in. He said Orange thinks he's pulling the strings, but let's see about that right now. He ordered Claudio to do something. He gets to the ring, gets to the chair. Pac and Shafir take Yuta down to the mat, and they put a chair on his neck, and this causes Cassie to rush the ring, and they let go of Yuta. And, like, you can kind of see as they start to beat down Cassie, Shafir saying something to him in the corner, right? Whether that was, like, telling him the plan or, like, giving him props. Like, there's something there, right? Some sort of communication. So, yeah, they beat up Cassie. So Shafir ordered him to attack, and so Yuta gets in on it, too. So I thought it was very interesting.
Yuta's really interesting right now.
Yeah. Dark Order tries to attack, but Mox beats them up. He gave Silver an armbar, threw him in steel stairs, smashed a chair on Uno, Pac put a chair on Orange's throat, and they teased a stomp on the chair. Darby Allin gets lowered, and I saw someone post
Sting
out of context, just Claudio standing there, or Claudio or Mox, and you just see Darby hanging there.
He looked completely limp, like it was just a corpse being dropped down from the seat. It was really weird. Part. He was not animated at all. It was just like dead weight, like a sack of meat just being lowered down.
That was the funny part. It's like he just
great.
looked dead.
He did.
I think that was because it was like a still shot, so it looked like he was being hung again.
And we just watched the like Owen Hart episode of the
McMahon
too, so it was kind of not the best
horrible timing. And also, there's the time where he got hung from his feet.
Yeah, so he like seems to get hung.
Also shown in the Vince doc was Boss Man getting hung.
Yeah.
Like hung.
Yeah.
Like that. So the timing is real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Darby attacks them though, and remember he broke the commentary table.
He did. It's just like a house of cards. It just like they breathed on it and it collapsed.
That happened recently too. That happens to them sometimes.
They're designed to release.
Oh, it was in the MJF, one of the MJF's matches. I remember he's going to do a dive through there, and I think
right.
he didn't. It might have been the Ospreay match because that was a really long match, but I don't think so because they kept setting up the timekeeper table spot.
I don't know.
So I don't know. Reynolds helped Allen get free from the harness. Claudio threw Allen on the table. Tough Light guys came out. They were brawling, and so yeah, like Blackpool leaves with the crowd being chased by those they were brawling with, and the Bucks come out to make their entrance because that match is going to be next.
Yeah, so the story is that Cassidy's going to have to sink to Mox's level, or that Mox is like this catalyst for change in AEW. He just goes about it in kind of dark and sinister ways, right? And it's kind of like if Danielson couldn't get to that level, it's hard to believe Cassidy can, but at least Mox is going to try and drag him to that point, I guess. I like that they can
Cassidy, again, has beaten him, so... I don't think Danielson's beaten Moxley.
I don't know.
In AEW.
I like that they keep messing with Wheeler Yuta a little bit. It drives home this whole, like... And we'll get into it when
he's beneath them.
And he's not doing this because he wants to. Like, he talks about it in that interview, right? Like,
I didn't even make that connection.
He's not doing this because he wants to do it. He feels like he has to do it. Like, he's bought into whatever Mox is... He's drank the Kool-Aid.
Not even that he agrees with Moxley, but that he believes in the vision, right?
Yeah. And I get the they want to do Sting NWO stuff, and Darby's rappelling from the ceiling, but it seems a bit silly to me. I don't know. Just run in, because then you don't have to be like detached by the thing by somebody else before you can join the fight. You know what I mean? It's kind of awkward that it's like cool entrance, but now you got to wait until what did you say? Silver unhooked him from the harness. Right. So that's not my favorite.
It is kind of funny, but I guess it's also just because he was mentored by Sting, so it's like, cute homage, whatever.
And I guess it's not Mox and company necessarily retreating, but it's the first time they haven't like stood tall.
I like that, right? Actually.
No, that's fine. It has to happen.
I think it was good to see the AEW guys finally get one up on Blackpool, because then it's not like they're just a bunch of goobers losing all the time, and like then it shows at least a bit of vulnerability to the group, to Blackpool, which I think is important, because while they've been murderizing everyone for the past few weeks, and I think it's important for them to, like, obviously be the powerhouses, because that the story is relying on that, right? But I think it is important for them to kind of get shown up every now and then, because then it's like it's kind of like in Star Wars, like this is the Empire and the Rebellion. It's like the Rebellion may get some small ones, but then they get set back, and then until the Death Star's blown up and the second Death Star's blown up, right?
Win the battle, lose the war type thing.
Right. It's like they blew up the first Death Star, but then they lose and Empire Strikes Back, right? Yeah. So, like, I think it kind of keeps that hope alive for the babyfaces, right? But obviously, I don't think that's going to happen until Darby is able to kind of cut the head off the snake.
I believe so, too.
But so I like this, and I love that Mox is so big on helping AEW and provoking Cassie that they kind of sacrifice Yuta here. Mm-hmm. Obviously, nothing actually happened, but I fully believe they would have stomped him if Cassie didn't come out in time.
Yeah, they've shown they're willing to take out their own.
And, like, even when Blackpool's babyface or whatever, they did condition Yuta. Remember, like, that was a thing in the one segment where, like, Claudio uppercutted him in, like, backstage for some reason. It's not right, but it's seemingly getting the desired effect. So again, I think it's interesting. Like, Mox is not right morally, but he's right in, like, that it is working and that it is bringing about said change.
And Yuta's like Stockholm syndrome guy or something, right? Almost.
Yeah, I think Yuta.
He might be my favorite part of this right now. Like, just where
him and Claudio, I really enjoy, and I think it's an underrated piece of the puzzle. I think he was in on the plan this time, but I'm not 100% sure, which I think is interesting. Because if he's in on the plan, like, fine, like, that's Like that makes sense and all. But given the fact that he wasn't clued in at All Out, and that he seems to be a level beneath them in the pecking order of this group,
he's on a need to know basis,
right?
Yeah.
So like, and I agree because this is the kind of plan that it works. It's kind of like it reminds me of Michael's fake firing of Stanley. Like, it's the notion that if you hadn't told us it was a fake firing, we'd believe it.
Yeah.
So that could be the logic here, that like they didn't tell you to, so that he would sell it.
Honest reaction.
Right? So that might be it. And again, the way they see him, they would totally be fine with doing that. So I like that. Darby's are sticking to Mox's Hollywood Hogan, and obviously that's the match we're building to, and that is the only reason I would ever compare Moxie to Hogan.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'll edit that out.
I hope, I hope Darby gets beat down badly and kind of watches from afar like Sting, because I kind of like the notion of Sting where like because obviously I don't think they can do the thing where, because Darby's never been Surfer Sting, right? Because that was the whole thing, like Surfer Sting, pure babyface, and people thought he joined. Sting. And when people thought he joined the NWO because they had fake Sting, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of had him, that shook his faith, and so that's part of why he was watching from the rafters as Crow Sting for a while.
Yeah.
And so obviously Darby can't do that, but I would like them to incorporate that element of him kind of watching from afar. Like, I would like even maybe, because I do want Darby to be Moxley, but I'm even throwing out the idea you have him challenge Mox at the next show, like the next pay-per-view or whatever, have him lose badly even, and like have that shake his faith, and then have Darby feel like he can't win this, right? Have him feel like he can't do anything, so then
brooding in the rafters.
Exactly. That causes him to brood in the rafters and do the kind of Sting thing until like he either finds the confidence or like feels like he has to screw it, he has to do something, right? Yeah. So I would like that, because I don't think they should be ripping off anything, I would love for them to kind of incorporate that as not only a nod to like this storyline being similar, but also if you want to do an homage to Sting, I think it'd be really cool. So I would like them to kind of do that with Darby. That's kind of my fantasy booking for this. So
that'd work.
We'll see.
I got no problem with that.
I like it in my head. And then I like that the Bucks come out to just since Private Party, they're like, oh, okay, we'll capitalize on all this commotion, and they also only come out with Blackpool Eve.
I was just gonna say they conveniently waited long enough until, because they're still sort of not wanting to deal with that group at this point, even though they quote unquote run the company, sort of thing. This is dead air. This is not good.
I'm just
ordering food.
Yeah.
Good luck. I can see it popping up on the computer. So then we get the tag team championship match.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, because I thought that Monday was like the fried Monday, but
they might only have steamed. Oh,
so yeah. At that point, I'm just gonna take udon because I like the noodles.
Okay. Go ahead.
What'd you say?
I don't know. Talk about the match, man. You're already gonna be like, it's 2:00. You got to go to work, so you need to text less and talk more. Wow, this is good stuff. I'm not editing this out either. I refuse.
All right, that's fine. It's Mother's fault.
Okay, hurry up.
Then we get Bucks versus Private Party for the tag titles, and Private Party is split if they lose. No entrance for Private Party as they were already out there. Early-ish on, Matt went for ring bell shot at ringside. Nick had the ref distracted. Quen takes it and accidentally takes out Zay.
It was a good shot, actually.
It was a good
believable
shot. And that was when Zay had to gig. We didn't see it. I just wanted to say gig.
Giggity.
No? Just no. Apron PK to Quen from Nick, the classic. And he's like, he's gonna be like, gotcha, or like he'll say, suck it, and then just kicks them in the face.
He does.
Nick super kicks Zay to cut off a hot tag. That was nice. Nick with the Falcon Arrow off the stairs to Zay. And Matt hits Quen with a superplex for 2. Zay hot tag flurry. Stereo for 50 splashes from Private Party got a 2 count.
Like perfectly
really
synchronized.
well synced. Yeah. Foot stomp powerbomb from the Bucks for 2. Just magnificent.
Yeah, it looks great.
Risky business from the Bucks for 2. Quen broke the pin there. Doomsday boot at ringside from the Bucks. Bucks drag Quen up the entrance ramp and leave him there. Okada comes out while the ref is distracted by the Bucks and hits a tombstone to Quen on the floor, and just his stupid smile.
He's great.
I missed him. I actually forgot they haven't really had him on TV.
He hasn't been around lots lately.
Which is sad now that I'm realizing that. Buckle Bomb and Zaguri followed by Gin and Juice from the Bucks for near fall. That was nice. Zay it's a series of super kicks for another near fall. Zay is just eating offense. He ducks an EVP trigger, rolls up Matt for a near fall. EVP trigger connects later on though for another near fall. V trigger from Nick, and Matt hits a one-winged angel, but Quen breaks the pin. Omega's return is imminent, which supports the news stories I've seen.
And he hits the one-winged angel better because he's a dentist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Gin and Juice from Private Party, and they are able to get the win.
Yeah.
Private Party with the title win, which surprised me a bit.
First thing I will say is the crowd added some serious energy. They were into this a lot, right? So really good tag match. Possibly excellent tag match.
I thought
with
it was
the
really
crowd
strong, yeah.
adding atmosphere, I thought, too.
Another good TV tag, 'cause I thought the Grand Slam one with Ospreay and Fletcher with the Bucks was also really good.
Great win for Private Party. Hopefully they can solidify themselves as a top team, or until they split.
Either way, it's fresh blood for the titles. Right?
Exactly. Great near falls. A lot of reasons to think the Bucks would retain. I don't know if you mentioned it. I could have lived without the Bucks shaking their hands after the match. That seemed really out of character for the Bucks.
That did seem odd.
But it's foreshadowing their baby face run coming up.
I heard they're on hiatus, so
I think that's... And guess what happens when they return?
They die.
Guess what? Mox's group's running amok, and guess what? They come back.
I feel like, though, if they're the ones that win like the trio titles, I feel like they can fight the Blackpool, but they should not win.
Yeah. Really good match. Really huge moment for Private Party. Again, I thought they could have built them better.
I agree, but I think the segment early in the show kind of helped.
The end result is they are now tag team champions, and we see where we go from there, and hopefully they stay hot.
Yeah, another strong match from these guys and a feel-good win. I definitely still wish we had saved it until Full Gear, but they may be telling some story with the Bucks evacuating in the midst of the Blackpool takeover, and maybe they want to get that going now.
Yeah.
So that might have been, again, I think should have planned a little better, but still. Regardless, I'm happy for Private Party. They're great. They've been around since the beginning. I really enjoy them. It's well-deserved. I hope this is the fresh air the division has been needing. Like, I think there's been multiple times this year where we're saying, like, blank point can be the point where they consider revitalize the tag division. For example, the tag team tournament that they dropped the ball with. Again, not letting that go because that's disappointing. But I hope this works out because fresh blood, that's a good start. The finish was built to very strongly, though. The Elite cheating to take out Quinn and then just barraging Zay with everything under the sun. I wish it took more than one gin juice for Private Party to win, but that's a small nitpick. I thought
they did hit it clean, though.
They did hit it clean, and the crowd reacted to it great, so I thought it was still really good. Omega's return was further teased with the use of his moves here, so there's also something to keep an eye on. And, like, can the Elite turn face if they're, like, teasing Omega here? Like, Omega has to feud with them, no? Or is Omega going to return as a heel, and, like, then that's out of whack, too, because apparently all bets are off.
I think it's Omega and the Bucks together.
But, like, they fired him.
I don't know, could be wrong.
I feel like... So, because I'm not totally disagreeing with that the Bucks babyface turn seems to be happening, but the Omega thing just kind of reminded me, and it's like, can we do that? Unless you isolate Perry as, like, the main antagonist there, but clearly the Bucks are antagonizing him here, too, and the Bucks were the one that, quote-unquote, fired him from the Elite, so it's like, again, I ask, like, I don't... So, I'm kind of indifferent on whether I think the Bucks face turn is happening or not, because like now I'm kind of confused.
I don't know if it's happening. I feel like it.
I don't disagree with that logic,
main story.
But now I'm like, I don't know. It's just weird. So I guess we'll see. Time will tell. Really strong TV match, and I'm happy Private Party finally got their moment. It's about time, and I really hope they get done justice because I think there's really good potential for them, and I think they're really enjoyable. So I think they could have some good matches. Like, I love
that they won't.
I mean,
they'll barely acknowledge the tag team, and we'll just continue going, wow, they really... In 3 weeks, you'll be like, who's the tag team champs? And I'll be like,
Yeah. I hope like we could maybe elevate someone like GYV are still kicking around. I saw they had a promo in ROH.
Anyone doing anything.
ROH for GYV.
Right. So
I'd love to see them against GYV. I proposed my Aussie Open idea already. I'd even take Private Party against FTR because at least that would be an established team they could be, and that is still a fresh match.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, Murder Machines. Murder Machines.
Could be.
You could do them as well. Dark Order. I don't know. Like elevate people or create new teams. Something like that.
They won't.
They should.
I'm pretty much put them in a basket with WWE. The tag team is not a thing.
No. I still have hope because we trusted them once, and well, I'll let it go. We'll see.
Yeah.
Do Pac and Claudio. Oh, that's a nice team.
They won't.
That's a nice team.
Won't happen.
It's a nice team. It'll happen.
Keep it realistic.
It'll all happen. Hey, I think, yes, it's been bad, but I don't think you can, like, rule them out like WWE because it's not...
It's close to that.
It's not Vince.
It's getting closer. 5 years, bro.
It's not like it's been bad for 5 years, though.
Tag team, when's tag team relevance? Early on, FTR Bucks.
Lucha Bros Bucks.
I guess.
2021.
But it's like the women's division. It's
FTR,
for the title and
FTR's
nothing else.
That's true, but...
Anyways, keep going.
That is fair. Tag titles is
Time
better.
is
Well,
finite.
We're fine.
We're not fine. We still have half the show to go, and you got to go to work. So it's going to be a speed run through the rest.
Then we got a Hater Ford interview. Ford said after 2 years she's going to take what she deserves, which I don't know what that is. And Hater said she's lucky that there's no physicality, and she'll mop the floor with her. And Jamie Hater looks like Daphne.
I'm annoyed that Hater is starting back at the bottom with, like, I talked about it.
Non-title storyline.
But she was awesome when she left. People loved her. And now it's like the most non-impressive return and start back at the bottom. So obviously Hater wins here, but I don't know. Not a fan of her booking.
I can't imagine a win over Penelope Ford does wonders for your career.
Exactly.
I like how Ford says people who've forgotten who she is. Like, she's actually done things. Like, she had that hardcore match that was good.
She's not bad. But
she's not bad, but she's not great, and she hasn't really ever done anything.
No.
And Hater says Ford is talking about something that happened 2 years ago when we all know nothing really happened, so who cares?
And now they've just backed it up to something. Before it was, you were my partner when I got hurt, and now it's just something.
And that's the something, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Man. Then we get Swerve Shelton video package. Not a lot to say about that, but that was solid. And then Jericho is all I wrote.
I have his obligatory appearance on Dynamite.
Yeah. Bill talked about how teamwork makes the dream work. Jericho bragged about beating Briscoe for the ROH title last week. Jericho said Meltzer rated 4 stars.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's
People like that match a lot.
I thought it was better than I expected, but
Me
it's
too.
not a 4-star match.
No, of course not.
3.5 at most.
I agree.
Jericho said he's now a 9-time world champion. He's the Nueve or whatever. That is not as fun as saying Ocho.
No.
I love counting to 10 and saying Ocho.
But no one joins you ever.
No one ever does it. I will still do it. I'm never gonna shout Nueve. Also because like that word doesn't sound fun to say. It's just Jericho talked about being ROH champion while mentioning Jay Briscoe again. And Jericho got cheap heat saying Cincinnati instead of Cleveland. Woo. Jericho said he's going to take ROH to the biggest stage and biggest success that's ever seen. Pretty sure he said that last time. Guess what? That was 2 years ago. Nope. He'll do it because he can. He said if you underestimate him, then you're underestimating him.
That sounds like a true statement.
He told us to never underestimate Jericho. And Jericho's going to take ROH to places and heights you've never, ever been before.
So, more catchphrases. Hooray.
I'm going to be honest. This is boring and mediocre, and I barely paid attention at all. I just didn't care, and I really was checked out.
Pretty much the same. I didn't really make any notes on it other than he was there, and he's using nicknames and catchphrases again, but it's not really helping.
Yeah. Anna J promo package. She talked about how much she's grown in the business over the last few years. Mariah May also spoke in the video, which is mostly bits from the Collision promo. And Jay said she's going to be her for the title. The one quote I took.
I didn't even make a note of this.
The one quote I took from Jay was, "I kept being told I was missing something," and I said, "I think that still applies, Anna."
In-ring ability,
charisma,
aptitude for wrestling,
charisma,
that
anything. It was fine, but pales in comparison to May's promo on Collision last week, which we had snippets of here.
Yeah.
Bucks backstage. Marvez tries to catch an interview with them, who are shredding papers in the locker room with Cutler, but Perry stops Marvez from talking to them. Garcia confronts Perry, and he pushes him against the wall in kind of like a tense
I like that
argument there. I enjoyed it as well. Perry mocked Garcia dancing for the fans, saying he used to be like that too. Garcia left, and the Bucks told Perry they need to talk, so they shut the door on the cameras. I thought the Bucks shredding documents was comically shady, but I thought it was amusing.
Well, and Matt's down packing a suitcase as fast as he can, right? So I was telling you, I thought it would be cool if they were like, the heel them could be like, we lost on purpose because they're trying to get the hell away from Mox and his group, right?
I think it'd be funny even if they stayed heel and came back and be like trying to be like pretending to be righteous baby faces, but like they're still heels because they're like we went away and we formed a plan, and like they could do something like that.
And someone else could be like, yeah, you went away because you were afraid and you left us when we needed you most.
So they could be heel, but they could be babyface, if you know what I mean. Like kind of do something like that.
And Perry's little smirks were amazing,
so
right?
Great.
And I would love to see a fleshed out Garcia Perry angle.
I would like to say I like that they're kind of building it here. I like that they're putting some time into it. And it's only been a little bit so far, but that's a lot better than not building at all, which is what they did for Perry and Shibata at Wrestle Dream. So I'm enjoying that bit here.
Yep, me too. I think those two could have a nice program.
And I'd even argue I like the Bucks' frantic state here as kind of selling the threat of Blackpool.
Yes, they just want out. They've got They lost
It's
the
their
titles.
company.
They have no ties to be there right now. They can just go on hiatus.
Right, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Perry stuck around because A, he still has a belt. B, he feels like the kind of person to thrive in that kind of chaos.
And he's kind of in the group, but also different from the group.
Right, so like he feels like the kind of person to stick around.
Yeah.
And then we get Statlander versus Camille, the
Hooray.
muscle fight.
Yeah, man, they'd really just spend a lot of time telling us how this is the two most powerful women in the universe. And
They also said like two of the most strongest people in the company, and then I'm like Brian Cage, Will Hobbs, Claudio, and I'm like, come on.
Pound for pound, and then we go Bandito.
Bandito, Claudio, even like Ricochet sometimes. Like Ricochet's got some underrated power game. Taurus is pretty strong. Like, oh, I call him Taurus. That's crazy. F5 from Statlander for 2, Redacted, and also Zarya.
Yep, Zaria.
Zaria. Is that? There's no. That's.
Zaria.
I was gonna say.
I heard someone else pronounce it that way, and now you know when you say it wrong, and then it gets stuck.
Well, see, I have never heard anyone actually say her name, so I don't know.
Zaria. Pretty positive.
No, it's not.
Zaria. Zaria. Zaria? No,
Zarya.
I'm confused myself.
I'm almost positive it's Zarya.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Statlander misses a 450. Camille hits a Rough Rider for 2. Which,
Yep, she did.
Okay. Torture Rack Powerbomb from Camille for 2. I love the Portal Bomb. Wednesday Night Fear from Statlander for the win. Monet attacks Statlander, knocks her out, I think with the belt, and then demands Camille go to the back, and she says when you want something done right, you do it yourself, and that was it.
Yeah.
This was underwhelming.
I was a bit...
The way they hyped it up.
So since Statlander hasn't really been pushed and just suddenly became a babyface, I thought maybe Camille's not losing her winning streak, right? Because she hasn't lost yet.
That too. I forgot. Yeah, the winning streak.
And then it's like, nope, Statlander won. And it was a 7-minute match with like over 3 minutes on commercials. So it's kind of hard to have a very strong opinion. I don't think Camille has looked great.
I don't think so either. I think she really stood out in NWA because she's a monster. Like, she's an Amazon of a woman, right?
And just ragdolling people.
And she can ragdoll people, and she looks like a decent powerhouse. But in AEW, I think, although the booking isn't always there, even in ring, there's just a higher standard here. I think by default, there's a higher in-ring standard here than NWA.
And you could argue, like, why are you putting her against the other powerhouse so early? Why are you not letting her keep displaying what a dominant force
because they built her a bit,
is,
but I feel like
immediately
they kind of thrust this.
Yeah, almost immediately going, here's the other strong woman.
Furthermore, why are you doing this when they were both heels and
suddenly not?
Right? Like, that further begs
Yes.
the question, like, I feel like you had to do more loopholing to get here than you would just, like, Cole and MJF leaving it be for now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
The match had a couple cool moves, but didn't really do a lot. And again, we basically got 4 minutes of action, so...
Yeah. This was underwhelming for sure. They built it as such a hoss fight and then it really fell short. Camille's been built as dominant. It felt like Statlander didn't really have to break a sweat beating her either.
No.
I didn't have lofty expectations, but just the way they built it, I feel like it could have been more. Statlander versus Monet should be good, but I don't know where the build will be at.
And it's also kind of cold because it's like, why is Statlander a face? We know nothing. Again, like, it's like she's Teflon for character. It just slides right off of her and we don't know what she is other than a strong woman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot I already said that. And then we got a Christian Hook package, and which cuts to a Christian promo. It was basically just him inviting Hook to talk next week in ring. It was fine. It was quick, and Sabian's with them, so I'm interested to see still where that's gonna how that's gonna get fleshed out.
That was the only takeaway, was that Sabian is standing there, clearly part of the.
So there's some sort of affiliation. I'd still like it to be elaborated on.
Yes.
And he looks kind of cool with the samurai hair and like the white hair. He's got an interesting look to him.
Yeah.
Care about him more than what his wife's doing.
True.
I'll say that.
True.
Then we get a conglomeration interview. Briscoe talked again about Jericho invoking Jay's name. Essentially, the gist of it was
no more.
They challenged the Learning Tree to a fight without honor next week. So not only, like you said, are we working backwards
from one-on-one for a title,
from a title match to
trios for nothing,
a trios match for nothing. It's also proof that Jericho feuds never end and no one benefits from it,
right? Except
Jericho. But even then, I don't think it looks great. And then it's also an ROH centric thing, an ROH stipulation, because fight without honor is a street fight, but that's specifically, like Ladder War, a ROH name for it. Like a Ladder War is a ladder match, right? But Ladder War is an ROH like name for it, right?
It's if a ladder match was 4 stars for Meltzer, a ladder war is going to be 5.5.
It's like ROH's name for something, right? So again, an ROH centric thing that's completely removed from their product. And like just have Mark win the title back soon, so at least he's not worse off, because the best possible outcome is that he remains the same.
And why is Jericho keep saying his name? Like, you know what I mean? This Jericho character wants to keep facing Briscoe. even though he already beat him for the title.
I mean, like I said, he does seem to like never-ending
But
feuds.
anyways,
So
the match itself might be fun. Who knows? But it's not that appealing to me.
yeah. The Bucks are then leaving the arena hastily with their luggage. They said they want to make this a better place. Nobody listened, so Matt tells Chris Daniels they'll be working from home, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
And then Blackpool beat up Cutler, who gets abandoned.
Yeah, they sacrifice Cutler in there. I think that's just further evidence of their haste to get away from Moxley, right?
And whenever they've been douche heels, they've always kind of... Cutler's like lower than Yuta is in Blackpool.
Yeah, and it's just another attack to a jobber by them, but it's sending a message to a top tier act at least, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He's got ties to top guys. Then we get Swerve Strickland versus Shelton Benjamin, our main event.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is worth noting that there's the whole WWE lack of black male talent on their shows, and here we go. This is like, if anything, there's been a lot of it lately.
And you're adding another one. Yeah.
And I mean, at the very least, good for Mello for getting on the Saudi show, because that'll be a good payday for him.
That's great.
So,
get that money, Mello.
Good for him. You know what? Love me some Mello.
Yep.
You know what? I will consider seeking out the triple threat match. I probably won't.
If we hear it's like a 5-star match or something.
I'm just saying that 'cause I really like Mello and Andrade, specifically Mello, and Knight's solid.
Yeah. I love Andrade.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Overhead belly to belly over the ropes from Shelton.
That was cool.
And that was cool. And then he did like that toss he did to Guevara where he just like, it's kind of like a belly belly, but he just stands there and just chucks him over his head. And Swerve's a decently big dude now. Like he's not cruiserweight Swerve anymore.
No, he's not.
So chucking him over was pretty cool. Smooth transition into a spinning roundhouse from Swerve. Missile dropkick to the back from Swerve for 2. Shelton blocks the roll through flatliner attempt from Swerve, grabs him in a DDT for 2. That was really cool, and just the strength there was nice. Swerve got the better of a strike exchange, nails a house call, and a clean 450 splash for 2. Step up me in the corner from Shelton, classic, always looks awesome. Swerve comes back with a roll through flatliner. Powerbomb followed by a Swerve stomp. Unfortunately, Shelton does take the loss. Swerve gets the pin there. MVP's on his phone, the lights go down. It's Lashes, as I lovingly refer to him as.
Bodybuilder dudes never look good in suits. This is a thing.
I don't know. I love Lashley in a suit, because it's the Hurt Business thing.
He kind of looks like a star, I'll say that.
He does. He's got the star presence, and I like the theme. Some of the beats in the theme, like it did kind of feel like reminiscent of, if you remember his WWE theme. Like
I don't remember, but I remember when it started thinking there's bits. There's
something beats. So I like that. I like the kind of having nods to that, because that'll also kind of help. Well, and while everyone knows, it's actually kind of helps with the recognition. Yeah. Especially because that's the theme he's been using, and the Hurt Business had a similar theme to what his theme was. Right. So I kind of like that. Lashley hugs MVP and then goes in the ring for a stand on with Swerve. Shelton kind of fakes stepping back into the ring as he was on the apron, but he kind of steps back, and then Lashley decks Swerve with a lariat. Shelton and Lashley beat down Swerve as MVP chokes Nana with his cane. Manager match.
Nana took some beat down.
He did. Spinebuster from Lashley. Swerve passes out in the Hurt Lock. Shelton murders a super kick guy, or a security guy with a super kick.
I think he might have actually kicked him in the face.
Like, oh my god, did he murder him?
Or this kid is like the next bestseller in the world.
MVP gets on the mic and says, "Guess who's back in business?"
Yeah, I thought a good match. I think there's a better one between these two.
I thought it was strong though.
The pace was deliberate, I thought, and you knew Lashley was coming. I'm not super happy to see him, but I'm curious to see him working a different style. Much like Shelton is right now. I'm really enjoying Benjamin being more of like a powerhouse and like a
beast.
Yes.
I'm
Instead
not
of
thrilled
just
about
like he's a quick, athletic, technical guy.
Yeah. Right? I'm not thrilled about it either, but I'm open to see where Lashley goes.
Good match, quality win for Swerve, since Benjamin has looked so strong since arriving. I would say Shelton got most of this match, I thought.
Which I'm happy with.
Yep.
Swerve's on the back pedal since he lost to Hangman. So.
Final few minutes were really good. Crowd seemed to get really involved. I thought very good, not great main event. Lashley did get a good reception, and so we'll see where that goes, I guess, right? But they're building another dominant, destructive heel group when we've got one.
That is a bit of a misstep, but
their motivations are money, and Moxie's is other.
For the
so
company.
I think that's okay.
That's true. They're just fighting for money.
I just like MVP being like, I'm pure businessman. The only time we're going to fight is when we're getting paid to do it.
Right, and then Moxie's is like about the company itself, right? And like the state of the AEW as a whole. So it is kind of different planes. So that's a good point. That could work out.
Yep.
So I thought it was a really strong main event as expected. May not have won, but Shell continues to look killer, and I have no complaints about his work so far. Like, I've been absolutely loving everything he's done. So I'm I'm really happy with his signing, and I'm glad he's kind of finally getting his due. Like, even in his older age, like just showing he's still got it and getting some time to shine because WWE didn't give him that much.
I agree,
especially in his later run. A little disappointing loss, but I kind of figured Swerve looked good as usual. Hasn't missed a beat. They nailed some killer stuff here, and the final few minutes were really strong. Of course, this was to set up Lashley's debut. He did look like a beast, even if I'm not really thrilled about his presence here and Shell murdered a guy. I'm open to what they're going to do. It's a wait and see for me, but I'm not out on it. I've liked what we've done before Lashley came, so we'll see. I liked Hurt
Business with Lashley as the fixture in it, so
we'll see.
Yep. Just scrolling through, like, this show had 3 matches I really liked, right? Cole Matthews I thought was really good. Main event was good. I would say the tag match was probably my match of the night,
probably
which
the best
I thought was pretty excellent. So that's a really good starting point for a show. I can't put it in the A range because I don't. You can just feel that when it's an A range show. But
I think my favorite promo might have been Fletcher.
Fletcher was good. I'm gonna go with a B, almost a B plus. I think for this show, I quite liked it.
I think the matches were pretty strong. The women's match was whatever, but the other 3, I think, because there's only the 4, right?
Yes.
The other 3 are super strong, so I like that tag title match was definitely the highlight. I enjoyed a little bit with Daniels in Private Party, for example. The Fletcher segment was good. I thought Cassidy's segment was strong, so I'll go B plus. I think I liked it a little more.
Yeah, that's
but
good.
Generally a pretty strong show and I like the special graphics and everything. I like it had a bit of a different presentation to it.
It was good.
And also Hangman's promo was good. So I think we're building the full gear decently. We've got a couple of matches confirmed and Hangman Switchblade in the world title match, so I think we're going nicely. I want Takeshita back on TV though, because I want him to have a title defense at the pay-per-view.
And just keep him in top of mind for people.
Yeah,
don't give
he's
him
amazing.
time off.
Yeah, don't give him time off when he's finally reached where he's meant to be.
I agree. Okay, so that finishes that. We'll go into some trivia now. It's back to the usual where I'm going to be asking Jack some questions here. We'll get into that now. We call it Off the Top of His Head. All right, so this time, I know you're up on the PWI stuff, but I saw someone else who used to be a very famous sports outlet who decided they were going to do their 20 greatest wrestlers of all time, WWE wrestlers only. So I thought it might, you can guess we're going to go Family Feud style. So there's 20, and I'm going to give you 6 strikes, and I might even have sound effects. We'll see if I can do that. Because I thought, it might stimulate some interesting discussion, whether you agree or disagree with things. I'm going to try and layer in the Family Feud theme here. You should have your headphones on for this. Throw those on right now, because you're missing the beautiful music. I don't want to have to play it again, you know? Oh, it faded out just as you were going. Okay, so there are the top 20. Okay, so I'm going to try and
rapid fire some easy ones.
Okay, so go ahead, and I'll tell you where they rank, and you might be surprised. So go ahead.
Hogan, Taker, Austin, Cena.
Whoa. So, sorry, Rock is
Hogan.
number 3.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Hogan, you said?
Yeah.
Number 2.
Also makes sense.
Who else?
Austin,
what number? 1.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, so top 3 are off the board. Go ahead from there. Cena, correct, is number 5.
What do we have? 1, 2, 3, and 5.
You're done. You're down. The top 4 are gone now.
Oh, wait. What do we have so far?
You said, I've deleted them all now. Austin, Hogan, Rock, Cena.
Was that 1, 2, 3, 4?
Correct.
1, 2, wait, I thought you said Cena was 5.
Cena was 4.
Okay. Taker?
Taker is 6.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the hints I were going to give you was there's only one pre-80s who you can probably guess.
Sammartino?
And 1 woman. Sammartino is 10.
Okay, that makes sense. That's the pre-80s.
And 1 woman. And then the rest are all like 80s to now.
Trish?
No. Oh, sorry. That's going to be a strike for you. I got to keep track of that. But keep going.
How current is the woman? Am I allowed to ask that? Charlotte?
No, sir. There's a lag on the buzzer.
Ooh.
Don't waste all your strikes on women. Go back to the top 20 men. Orton is number 15. Save your strikes would be my advice to you.
Wait, it's top 10 or top 20?
20.
Okay.
And I've given you 6 strikes. You've got 2 so far.
Okay. I want to say... Oh, wait, okay, Shawn Michaels has to be there.
I was going to say, just go big, the obvious ones. He's number 8.
I want to say Kane. I feel like Kane.
You want to say Kane?
That was a bad guess. I thought there was a chance though, because he's got so many like big records like that, like with the.
Who just had the belt for 100 years?
Roman.
Okay, there you go. Number 5.
That's number 5, really? Okay. Do you know? Sorry,
think of big 80s people, 90s people.
80s, 90s.
Think added couple
Bret?
Attitude Era. Sorry, Bret Hart is number 9.
I think like who's Savage.
Savage is number 11.
Gotta think of like who's carrying the company when, you know? Oh,
Yeah.
Triple H.
Triple H is number 7, ahead of Savage, which is somewhat weird.
It kind of depends on how you look at it, I guess, because I feel like Savage was never like he was the top guy, but not always. He's still regarded.
So you have 12, 13, 14, and then 16 to 20 left. The woman is number 20. But don't go back there yet. You've got three strikes.
Okay.
Who else was big that you haven't mentioned?
Big. Let me think.
So only one.
Batista?
Only one now from the 80s.
Ah.
And then it's more modern era.
Who else from the 80s?
Think of
DiBiase?
wow, you're
No, I was dumb.
think of feuds with Hogan. Who's one of his biggest nemesis?
Andre?
Correct. Andre is 16.
I mean, I guess
Who
he's
do
like one of the biggest, but I would never consider
So
him
now you only
big.
have one strike left, so I got to go some hints maybe for you.
Okay.
Who do I argue had a best few year run of anyone? Who I say is better than anyone ever, possibly. Really?
I feel like you say that about New Japan Nakamura. I know that's not
No.
right,
but like I'll be like, there's a 2 or 3 year span where
Angle?
Correct. Kurt Angle's number 12.
Angel.
Oh, there is one more 80s. Another Hogan rival who, well, he never
Piper?
won the title. Yes, Piper 13.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
Yeah. 17 and 18 are currently people you hate.
That's
One in each company that we
one in each company.
pay attention to.
Oh. Like that we hate or that I hate?
Neither of us like either of them.
Oh, okay.
I'll say that.
Ric Flair? That's one of them?
Oh, you just... That's your 6th. Okay, but I'll keep going. Who do we just talk about that's always on Dynamite that we don't like? That would be all-time favorite.
Jericho.
Jericho's number 18.
Oh, who's in WWE? Okay.
Who do you really, really can't stand in Raw, who's on hiatus right now, came from AEW?
Oh, that's so like, I feel like I should know that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say his name right there. Punk.
Oh, see, that's, again, I should have known.
Number 19 is somebody who's known for hurting themselves, taking lots of punishment through cages and things.
Oh, Foley.
Correct. And then the woman.
It's not Trish or Charlotte. Was it Becky?
Yes, it is Becky Lynch.
Really?
number
Above both
20.
of them?
I know.
That's weird. And
So
I like
that's-
Becky, but
And that's
that's
the thing, because I don't even know how much Sports Illustrated is in like the wrestling.
I don't know
world
what
at
the
this point,
criteria
right?
is,
So-
because like I was thinking also accolades. Like Becky's not on
I
the
know.
level, so that's weird.
But you did very well. I just thought that would be an interesting way to sort of get an easy trivia in there. So now we'll go back to talking about wrestling. It's whatever we thought was notable in what we watched, and we watched some different stuff, I think, than usual, maybe. But anyways, we'll talk about it now in Highspots and Restholds. All right, I thought you might want to. I just made notes and you could talk about it. From Collision, we talked about it. So we saw a few things. One was Leo Rush Ricochet.
I honestly didn't really pay attention.
I thought it started out slow, ended up building into a really good match. And then the
I
other
was
thing
talking to people.
was Yuta and Nigel. Talk
What
about that.
May?
Well, that was after.
Okay, I was gonna say.
So
You
Yuta,
said
Nigel.
the other thing, so I wasn't sure if you had it on there or not. That was really good though. It was basically Yuta talking about like in a sit down interview, kind of like JR style. Like how we were saying earlier, that he doesn't necessarily want to do this, but he kind of has agreed with the Moxley philosophy that this is what needs to be done, and this is what he has to do.
And he took some cold shots at Nigel, right? Like Nigel's like, you know, I spent 10 years of my life trying to prove I'm better than him or something. And he's like, how'd that go for you? Right? Like he's kind of like, and I've been barely doing this and I'm all, you know what I mean? So it was a combination of like putting Nigel in his place and then also being like, I don't really want to do this. I kind of have to do this kind of thing. I thought he was excellent.
I thought it was really cool, and one of his best promos, and some nice character development for him.
I'm really interested in what he's doing. And then Mariah May was just straight up her telling the truth and destroying Anna Jay, like, right? Like, I don't remember anything specific to you, but like,
I don't. I was hoping you had it down, because it was just like, it was ruthless.
she ripped her like 3 or 4 times consecutively that were all pretty accurate. Like, we can find another blonde girl with the big ass or something, right? Was part of it.
It was pretty scathing.
It was awesome.
Not inaccurate.
Worth checking out. Couple really quick things from Collision that we thought were awesome.
Yeah, and that's like the kind of stuff I'm sad on Collision, because like, I mean, I get it because it should be a marquee show, and so I kind of struggle with like, I'm always like, oh, you should put stuff on there that is worthwhile, but then at the same time it sucks.
We know we're not going to see it,
so it's kind of a catch-22. It's like,
because Canada, we don't get it, we have to go find it, so that's unfortunate. Raw, almost a complete waste of time because we're in the blood money holding pattern, right? So a lot of talent missing. I mean, look at the main event of this is Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio, right? So I think that's...
Just after getting out of this feud, Priest is thrown back in somewhat.
Right. And some lackluster matches, I thought. Notable stuff, the Usos reunite, right? Jay said he became Intercontinental Champion by himself, and then I put, for what, a couple weeks? Whatever. Anyways.
Yeah.
Bloodline attack, obviously. Usos fight them off, stand tall, and I just don't care about this new iteration of the Bloodline. It's just not... Solo Sikoa's not it.
He's not... he can't.
The Tongans aren't it. Fatu is it, but...
Fatu is him.
Enough. So, put Jay and Jimmy back together, I say, and the singles experiment.
They did. On
SmackDown.
Good.
Kaiser lost to Sheamus again via brogue kick. Good 10-minute match that just makes sure we know where Kaiser stands, right? Because what are you like heating up Sheamus for?
Which sucks because Kaiser's got potential.
I think he could be really, really good. So they just ran this, something we've seen back multiple times. I don't know why.
Hasn't Kaiser lost to him before too?
Yeah, of course. I don't even know what the motivation was other than like we're in a holding pattern. So run these guys out there.
Yeah, because they'll have like a solid match and everything, right? So.
Then it becomes the question of, can the Usos trust Sammy? They're friendly with Sammy backstage, but in a later segment, you see the Usos from a distance are watching Sammy talk to Solo Sikoa. So who is he loyal to? I don't really care.
There's no way that's like, it's just false suspense.
And the brand separation sort of crumbling here, right? Because I don't watch the other brand.
Because Saudi.
Right. And
well, not even that, but also because Bloodline.
Yes.
I think there are two things that will supersede it is Saudi, because, Crown Jewel title, and then Bloodline, because they,
And like this Bloodline feels, my description comparison is it's a really bad photocopy of a really detailed, good original. Do you know what I mean? Like you ran it through some crappy old copier from the 90s.
You went from the Usos to God.
And this is what you
Girls
get.
of Destiny. Hey, Tonga Loa is the foot of the table, all right? He's a legend. Legend.
Ivy Nile and Zelina Vega, guess what? Their match wasn't very good. I don't know if you could guess that from the fact that it's Ivy Nile and Zelina Vega, but
that's crazy.
It wasn't great. Nile won with a swinging Uranagi, and the Creeds had to get involved for her to pick up a distraction win, basically. So, again, did not feel important. Felt like I
saw something funny.
Felt like it was just thrown in here.
It was like some Instagram posted the wrestlers doing different costumes, and so Alpha Academy did Dudley's, and Maxine did Stacey Keebler. You know that photo of Dudley's?
I saw it. Looked really good.
It looks It looks
she looks
really
like
close.
Really a lot. Yes.
Especially like just in the whole getup. It was pretty interesting.
More Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins violence. We get a stomp on the hood of a car and then a DVD out of a transport truck through a pretty significant crash pad. But like, not the most devastating.
When you're in a more dangerous environment like that, though, it's a little more understandable. It's, you know what I mean?
Yep, but they're carrying on this idea that they're just, Reed is this destructive force, and I like that. But it's somewhat cerebral.
He's big.
He's cerebral, though. He's doing it all to get attention and get whatever, so I like that. R-Truth was one of the highlights of this show, so he's backstage with Alpha Academy, and then Miz comes up, who is now regretting his heel turn, right? So he's like all apologetic and whatever.
Oh, really?
Alpha Academy sort of like look like they want to step in and defend Truth, and Truth's like, no, this is between me and him. So the camera sort of zooms in, and Truth like acts like he forgives Miz. He's like dancing around going, awesome, Truth is back together. And then he's like, well, I've got something for you. And then he does the whole pocket thing and just punches Miz, right? And then he sort of stands over Miz and just goes, good luck with the Wyatts, you're gonna die. And it was actually really funny.
That's all right.
So then you're not going to like this part, though. Truth walks away, walks by Pete Dunne, and calls him Butch, and goes, have you seen Pete Dunne? To Butch. So anyways.
It almost makes me chuckle just because at least Pete Dunne's still there.
So I think like Truth was really good here, and I'm pretty sure everybody's on his side, right? When it comes to Miz getting comeuppance, you're gonna side with our Truth. Basically.
People love Truth when we don't like Truth. So
this
if you like Truth, then it's
like good luck with the Wyatts. You're gonna die. Was
I mean, funny. In kayfabe, I feel like there's a decent chance like that's true. Because
yes.
like the Wyatts are just I don't even know.
Other notable, War Machine won the triple threat, right? So now they're number one contenders for the tag titles.
War Machine?
War Raiders, sorry, whatever they are. They have 17 different names in the last 3 years.
Hey, it's only been 4.
Nice to see an actual team get some focus rather than like... Because right now the tag titles have been what's the faction we're focused on and who can represent them as a tag team.
Pretty much.
And you're the champions. So a tag team that is...
I'm happy McDonough got a belt, but it really hasn't meant anything.
No, it hasn't.
And I love McDonough, so like... At this point, I don't really care if he has the title or not because it hasn't really done anything for him. Like, if they had actually been defending the belts and been prominent as tag team champions, I would have been happy because,
I know.
Like I said, I want JD to have belts. I like him.
But it just felt like we're focusing on Judgment Day, staple the titles to these guys.
And it felt like more of not even that they were focusing on it, but it became kind of a piece. Because remember, Liv helped them win the titles, and that was part of her ploy because that was before Priest and Ripley got ousted. So that was kind of like it was kind of used as a prop to get her favor with the Judgment Day, right?
And now she seems to actually like Dom, which has shifted too, because for a while it was just like she was interested in Dom just to take everything away from Ripley, and now it's like
I think it's also because he actually likes her,
right? So anyways, so yes, the story involving Xavier Woods continues because he's out of the ring when he was the legal man and never made it back in for the save on the pinfall. Gable also furthered storyline with Ray because he put an ankle lock on him at some point.
Gable looked insane, just like pulling him out of the ring and just ankle locking him to hell.
I thought it was a really good match and it got a decent amount of time. And as far as I'm concerned, it's the right result as well. Feels like War Machine are going to win the titles. I don't know why you would do this and not have them, especially when Judgment Day's doing nothing.
Watch them not.
True. Judgment Day seems to be backburnered, so I imagine it's time to get the belts off them. I texted you and said, is it possible I like the story with Miz and Cross right now? Because I think I do.
That's not good.
So Miz is trying to wriggle out of facing the Wyatts now, right? But Cross won't let him. So he basically says, you either need to go find Howdy and find out why the Wyatts are targeting our group, or I'm going to break your legs.
Or find Bo, because isn't Bo the normal human that you should talk to?
So maybe that's what it was. But anyways.
And he believes himself to be Uncle Howdy or whatever their lingo was.
Here's the reason I like this, because Cross was the one in Miz's ear telling him, like, you can beat a monster, right? You can beat Bronson Reed, and, like, hyping him up. And now that Miz knows he can't, and he's activated the Wyatts, he's now afraid, but he's lost all his friends because of Cross. So Cross knows he has his hooks in him now and is like, well, too bad. You've come this far, and now you're either going to be my little minion or I'm going to be the one beating. So, like, you can either for sure take a beating from me or go talk to Wyatt and maybe take a beating.
And you'll have his help.
Right. So I kind of am okay with, like, he purposely messed with the Miz, got in his head about, like, oh, you need to unlock the old Miz and you can beat this monster. And monsters come in all sizes, I think was one of his quotes to him. And now it's like, haha, you sucked at it, but now you can be my little errand boy sort of thing. So I kind of like it. Dom beat Priest in the 9-minute main event with a distraction roll-up.
I saw that. That was lame.
Just to reestablish the pecking order, Priest just beat the hell out of Carlito and JD, right?
Because he can take on that whole group by himself. That's always been the thing in the feud. It was like, that's what happened in the Balor match, was he also beat them all by himself and then beat Balor. Because
my thing says, the finish again establishes Carlito and McDonough as goobers who are easily destroyed by Priest. Balor escaped that fate because he wasn't there, and maybe I don't know why, but he's on a different level as well, right? So like,
which is a weird thing because guess what? He's tag champs with McDonough,
with one that got destroyed.
Like, which I don't like because I get Carlito's like older and he's on like a downswing at the end stretch of his career, so like,
and he's their heel R-Truth basically.
Yeah, and I get him, so that's why I get that because he's like older and he's like, it's not like he needs to be elevated or anything. So him being like the kind of joke and like less serious, less formidable in the group makes sense, but to constantly bitch out McDonough has never made any sense to me because I get he's smaller and that's probably part of it, but like he's really good if you give him a chance.
And it was Ultra this time. I don't know if you saw, because Priest destroyed them, walked away, straps down, which was a little battle to get his straps down, and then went back and killed them again. So it was like double kill.
Like, I don't understand why McDonough has to get bitched out. Like, what did he ever do?
He has small with a big head.
He was always the fall guy. Like,
Yep.
I just don't understand.
So NXT, you were around for a little bit in the middle, I put on this, and then you came back for the main event because it was Fraxium. Some wrestlers in costumes on this show. I think it was mostly women, but I've said I won't discuss them. That's your angle, not mine. I know Nikita Lyons was as a pirate-ish.
And I saw Kalani brought back her Spider-Gwen that I think she had last year.
She reused that costume, apparently. So Tatum Paxley interrupts the intro, pushing a humongous casket.
Wasn't Wendy Chu the doll, I think, from something? I think from the Nightmare Before Christmas one, but
could be.
She looks like Sally.
Could be. And so I texted you, why is the casket like big show size for Paxley and Chu?
Well, it's fairly obvious.
It did make sense. So it opens with that match. It's Paxley Chu in a casket match. We get a reverse angle slam or inverted by Paxley that I thought was kind of a cool idea. She did a really good job of, when the trash can's wedged between the ropes in the corner and the person moves. Paxley ran like full tilt into it. Looked pretty good. Chu is in a trash can getting hit with kendo sticks. We get trash can tree of woe basement drop kick by Chu. So it was Paxley in the trash can upside down getting a drop kick. They used the big dollhouse that I thought was a cool spot, sort of tease of people running into it, and then Paxley eventually gets hip tossed into it. A pretty satisfying like smashing of the house, I thought. Paxley then gets put in the coffin, but she uses Wendy Chu's body pillow to stop the lid from closing. Chu takes the body pillow, empties it out, and there's Lego pieces in there. We get a few teases of people landing on that, but it's Paxley eventually takes a full Nelson slam onto Lego. Can't be fun. Paxley back in the casket. We get the sleepy elbow from Chu off the apron into the casket, and it was well executed because as she lands, the lid closes and they're both in there. Doesn't really mean anything, and I guess that was why they had the huge casket, because they both had to fit in there.
Yeah, which is such a necessary spot.
And it's not even like they're like, oh my god, what do we do? Commentary's just like, oh, and the match just continues because nobody closed the lid themselves and they're both in there. Okay, cool. So the finish sees Wendy Chu.
Wow, Timu Bloodline won. I did not expect that.
Standing on top of the casket. I did. They kind of need to there.
I guess.
Paxley discharges a fire extinguisher into Chu's face. Chu falls off of the giant casket through like a wooden bed frame that was there. And Paxley just puts her in the casket and closes the lid. So for me, it was a 10-minute over-delivered match. It was I said to you, it's like a PG-13 casket match. But like different props, right? Dollhouses, beds, and things to make it a little bit different and make sense with the characters. I thought Paxley looked really good. Huge win for her. And hopefully they do something with that momentum. And Chu's character's terrible. So my hope is she goes on hiatus now from this casket match and sort of comes back different somehow.
That's wishful thinking on your part.
I know. Trick in-ring promo that I didn't really care for, but
what?
He wants to talk about Ridge, Holland, and Bully Ray. So Bully Ray comes out. Trick thanks him for helping him last week.
He's Bubba.
So Ray starts out by saying, it's not about Trick. It's about Ridge being disrespectful on Ray's podcast and other places to other people.
Yeah, because they had multiple interactions on Havoc, I think.
If you say so. Bully Ray then later, a little bit later, says it's all about Trick when he said it's not about Trick. He points out, and this is me editorializing, how strange it is that the babyface and like champion of the company has no friends or anyone to back him up. And Bully Ray's like, it's because everyone wants the belt. So hold on. Are you telling me every time there's a babyface champion, they have no friends because everyone wants the belt? Can we flash back to Carmelo Hayes as champion?
When Trick was his friend.
And Trick was his right-hand man. So anyways.
Yeah, or like, I don't know.
Bubba says, I don't want to take a spot from a young person as he stands in the ring taking a spot from a younger person.
And this would be admirable somewhat if he didn't take the match as well.
Right. He'll leave it up to someone else in the locker room. So I didn't have any use for this, really, to be honest. This is just more ECW stuff. It's Bully Ray doing exactly what he says he doesn't want to do, taking in-ring promo time from someone who should be developing right now. Anyways.
Yeah, it's like I was saying to you, the ECW nostalgia is already not great, but to do it on a developmental show just seems even worse.
And I don't have to wait long for more ECW stuff because it's RVD with Ava. And he's basically like, I know Bully Ray doesn't want to take up time from anyone, but I don't care. I will, kind of thing. So
at least he's shameless, I guess.
So if Bubba Ray looks like a hero for not taking a spot, then RVD looks like a prick here for doing just that, right? But anyways,
they're both doing it, so at least again he's not.
And then my note says, and both of these guys are 53 years old. Kalani walks up and wants to talk to Ava too. She wants a match with Henley. Nikita Lyons walks up from behind and says Kalani lost and Lyons wants that title as well. Kalani says she'll take care of Nikita, then back to Fallon. And so I haven't liked Nikita Lyons since she came to NXT, but...
Which was a while ago.
Maybe it's because I don't think she's a believable babyface. So if they have... I might have time for her as like a douchebag, because she was doing this whole like, you need to get outside and touch grass and as a babyface, and I'm like, that's douchey. I could... If they partner her up with Femi and let her be a heel, it could reinvigorate her for me. Spears and Jensen are backstage with Tony D. Spears wants to be the next contender.
Spears versus Tony D. That's what you want.
And then the phone rings and he puts it on speakerphone, and I immediately, half joking, go, it's Nunzio.
I had no idea.
It was Nunzio.
That's just horrible.
Or Little Guido, or whatever you want to call him.
They'll call him Nunzio.
It's kind of funny because he's like, you're going to be in Philly and it's like a turf war thing. I'm the mobster in Philly. You need to let me know when you're bringing your business here, sort of thing.
Dumb.
Sure. Is this a draw? Who's this for? Who is ECW like nostalgia
Who's
for?
both an ex-ECW fan and a current NXT fan? I feel like the overlap has to be minimal.
Weird thing to me. Heritage Cup match, Lexis King, babyface, ? Lexis King taking on Charlie Dempsey. They still have not acknowledged any relationship between Regal and Dempsey because Regal is in the corner for King. Dempsey wins the first fall with a bridging butterfly suplex with about 30 seconds left in round 1. Then there's a really, I thought, convincing slip off the apron and knee tweak by King in round 2. Regal's like encouraging him heading into the break. The match was paused throughout the break for medical to come and check on him. So my thing is they found a way to not lose a full round.
That's something.
Right? Flurry by King, who ends the round with a super kick to Dempsey. They take way longer than normal between rounds to show us all this. Usually it's like seconds, right? This was like them running back. Here's all the treatment that King got during the break. Anyways, another Regal pep talk. We got shown that King refused the knee brace they put on him. So like really baby facing him here, right? He's the injured but fighting challenger. Regal back in control. I think I meant Dempsey to start round 3. He's targeting the ring now. Quick sequences for King, but Dempsey always goes back to the knee. Regal tries to give King brass knuckles at one point in the corner, but Lexis King refuses them and says, "I'm not my father." Right? It's a catchphrase you could have too.
So it's brass knucks, right?
Correct.
Shouldn't Dempsey refuse brass knucks and say, "I'm not my father"? Does that not more fitting?
The layers to this. It's meta. Dempsey, chop block, and bridging German by Dempsey to win for the win here. So basically, the little decision about to not use the knucks cost King the match, I think is the point. I think this was King's best work so far. He actually hit moves and sold his knee. Is it possible that his style was part of his heel gimmick?
I don't like that's giving him too much credit.
You're a douchebag and act like you can't wrestle.
That's giving him too much credit.
Because this was better. So I
thought you were like, is he actually good as a babyface?
But I almost care about him. So I don't know how that's possible. And I always like Dempsey.
Never thought I'd see the day.
Dempsey's perfect for the Heritage Cup, right? And is this the slow burn? Because now Regal kind of cost King the match here. So is it going to be revealed that he knew all along and he's been supporting his son? And this was a way of, like, I don't know.
It's possible.
It's got them adjacent anyways. Lola Vice is ready for Jada Parker in a hardcore match, she tells us. And then something about Dawn Marie. And I just wrote grr with 1,000 R's because who cares? Now I'm confused myself on how to say it. Zarya?
I'm almost positive.
I've messed with myself now by messing the... Anyways, versus Brindley Reese. I told you should check out Zarya's entrance. I thought it really cool and the theme suits her. So she does this thing where she kind of hyperextends Reese's arm and picks her off the ground and then drops her. And then the refs ask if Reese needs medical. Zarya comes and pops the arm back in. And then I kind of like that, right? Here, I'm going to fix your arm for you so I can keep beating the hell out of you. I kind of like
the match
that.
Can continue.
Now, maybe not the best selling job because Reese still ends up doing like some handspring stuff off of her dislocated elbow. But anyways, we get a Reese Hope spot, ends with a German suplex, a spear, and a pretty nice looking F5 from Zarya for the win in under 3 minutes. Cool finishing sequence. I'll need to see her in a longer match, but so far so good, man. She is
That's where you got to start, though.
I agree. Heel tag team surround Zarya, so who would that be? That's got to be Fatal Influence Is that the correct name? Jade and Perez. Is that it then? Or was there more? Anyways, Kalani comes out, then Vikur and Julia, and Perez is like, oh, that's still not enough. That's still 5-on-4, so we're good. And then it's Jordan Grace showing up, right? Fresh off losing her title in a really good match to Masha. She's there in NXT, so it begged the question, is she gone from Impact? But I think she was on Impact this week, so not yet anyways. Sets up a big tag match.
Does Impact still tape, or?
I think so.
Because that might explain it.
So is this a War Games or something? Or just a giant tag match?
It's a tag match, I think, next week.
Oh, is it?
They don't do War Games anymore. They lost it out to the main roster.
I see. Oh, that's right. They took it from them. We then get Nikita Lyons and Kalani Jordan, I guess, kind of for who's going to be number one contender for North American coming out of this. Lyons in control early, looking kind of slow and gassed, I thought she looked. But maybe she was just selling. I don't want to be too critical, but she looked tired fast. Lyons sets up for the Vader bomb, notices Rizzo at the top of the ramp taking her earrings off.
Because, classic.
This causes Nikita to miss the Vader bomb, happens to land right in position for the split-legged moonsault, which Kalani hits and wins after 4 minutes. Rizzo attacks Lyons afterward, including diving onto the floor. So I'm for this because this is positioning Lyons as a heel, right? Because as you know, Rizzo, the member of the group, the
mob
group,
that ganged up on Obafemi
people. They're the faces.
Yeah, as you do.
The kidnap, murder, and win matches by 4-on-1. Those are the baby faces.
As you do.
So Lyons is the heel, it looks like, and I'm all for that. Her as a baby face has not worked, so let's try something new. Ridge cuts off a Ethan Page in-ring promo. He says he's next in line, not Page. Bully Ray was smart not to take
because he beat up a university.
That's right, an entire university. Bully Ray storms to the ring to talk with Ridge. He's really boring and gets whatted a bit as he talks about knowing nothing about Ridge until recently. Way to put the guy over, right? More about being disrespected, catchphrases, and bravado. I was like, oh, that's kind of like a nice summary, like Holds and Counters. Catchphrases and bravado, summarizes a lot of people's stuff, right? Ridge deserves nothing, apparently. Ridge speaks the truth about Ray, calls him a nostalgia act that no one cares what he thinks, tells him to go back to the studio and complain about what's wrong with the current generation of wrestlers. I like this. He threatens to send Bully Ray to the hospital. Bully Ray hits him, but numbers game until Trick makes the save. Bully Ray will take the match. Screw the young talent after all, I guess. You don't want to take up time? You took a promo segment, you took this segment, and you're also taking a match. So guess what?
Bull.
I thought Ridge has never sounded better, maybe because he was speaking the truth as far as I could tell, right? So he sounded good here. Sets up a tag match that I have no interest in. Face women's super team backstage. Kalani is the peacemaker, sort of as Grace.
It feels like a Survivor Series match.
It does. Grace and Zarya are sort of getting feisty, teasing some sort of whatever, and Kalani's
I feel like you could do that.
Peacemaker. Ripley shows up just to see them, and I was like, what's going on? But clearly they're setting up the beatdown. They need to take her out, because I was confused. She just showed up.
Because otherwise it's weird.
And she's like, it's going to be a great match. You're all awesome. Because everyone has to just fawn over anyone from main roster, right? So it's like they're on this other level somehow. Jada Parker vignette warning Lola Vice. Weapons will work better than MMA was basically the summary, which is pretty fair.
True. I think that was one of the things in that Black Cole match where it's like he wasn't going to use weapons because he was just going to kick him, but then Cole's like,
weapons are better.
Stick.
She warns Dawn Marie too, and Jada Parker don't play. Generic content, awesome delivery, great attitude, and now she's got this catchphrase, right? She's got the Jada Parker don't play, and I think that will work for her. Stevie Turner and Mr. Stone argue as refs run past them to the outside. Oh, there we go. I did see it. So Liv and Raquel walk by with a pipe, and the refs run to Rhea Ripley. So I just forgot. That's how memorable it was. Main event, you watched with me. It's Fraxium taking on Javon Evans and Cedric Alexander. Axiom and Cedric start out slowly and then start to pick up the pace. Fraser makes a blind tag. Already, the miscommunications, right? I'm just tagging myself in sort of thing. Evans, the last to enter, and he and Fraser go at it.
That was really fun.
Fraser ignores a tag attempt from Axiom, so again, more of that story. Axiom forced to make a blind tag even though he doesn't want to. Yeah, the action between those two is really good.
Javon's crazy.
On the break, Axiom and Fraser work together to get control, so Cedric then after the break is the face in peril for quite a while. Evans gets the hot tag, dominates Fraser again. These two seem to work really well together. Evans with a near fall, wants to tag out, but no one is there. I forget how Cedric got taken out, but he's not in the corner for a while. So the champs take over and work really well together now. Cedric is back finally. Consecutive power bombs. Fraser breaks up the pin. Cool springboard cutter after Evans fakes out Fraser. Remember that? He sort of looked like he was going one way, went the other.
Yeah, he did like a double springboard to avoid Fraser. It was really cool. It kind of caught me by surprise.
Axiom hits a destroyer to Evans. We get a shooting star Phoenix splash broken up by Evans and a cutter. So I don't remember exactly how that played out.
I don't remember.
Did he like jump off of one onto... Anyways, it was cool.
Oh, was the pin breakup where he jumped off of Fraser's back and then...
He nailed a cutter?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Wesley comes out with a chair. Evans fights him up the ramp, sort of leaving Cedric all alone, and you can kind of see what's coming. But they do give Cedric one really nice flurry before the finish, right? Lumbar check, Michinoku driver for a near fall. Eventual chasing the dragon from the champions, and Fraxium retain almost 15 minutes. I thought a really strong back and forth match. Fraxium,
I really enjoyed it. Their matches are always so good.
And again, they're balancing this like miscommunications, but when we're on the same page, we're better than everybody. Right, if we just forgive the miscommunications, and Cedric
Javon is crazy. I think Cedric's really good.
He got some time to shine there too, right?
Doesn't always get he just doesn't always get that, and then Javon's sick.
I'm wondering if Cedric's going to be annoyed because Evans kind of left him, right?
I do think it's kind of dumb to follow Wesley just because.
But he's a 19-year-old kid.
That is true,
right? So he's making stupid mistakes because he's young and dumb, I guess, is the thing. The situation with Evans is kind of a wrestling cliche, right, with him leaving, but again, he is super young.
It's a wrestling cliche.
And it kept him from being there to take the loss, right? Another strong match from the tag team of the year, right? And their dynamic, again.
I mean, they have to be.
It's moved past, like, will they split up into just, like, this is what they do. And as long as they keep winning. So I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, I could see once they lose the belts again, it could come to a head, but.
Yeah.
I hope they don't.
For now, keep it rolling.
They're just so good.
Because they're, like, the only thing you're
and they have so many cool combination things. Like they had like the kind of total elimination where he does a diving drop kick. They have the Spanish fly Phoenix splash. They have the superplex chasing the dragon. They have like so many things. Like they have a really good repertoire that they built, right?
Yep, they're fantastic to watch. So I really enjoyed the main event on that show. I think that's everything, right?
I think so. I mean, we also have been like working our way through the MLP show.
Yes, which Takeshita Bailey, amazing. The opening on night one I thought was good.
That was a fun tag, yeah. The scramble on the opening night two, was opening two? I don't know. The one Psycho Mike one, that was fun. Pretty good.
ELP,
the Bully Ray stuff is sucked.
ELP Bailey is good.
Bully Ray Jinder Mahal stuff is sucked.
Rough. Yes.
And like what Giselle Shaw had a solid match so far.
Kylie Ray.
Bailey ELP was good.
Who is it? She faced the Japanese woman who I'm like, I like her. Yamashita's cool.
That was the 4-way, right?
She wrestled both nights.
Lainey Luck and Taylor Rising as well.
Right. Yamashita looks really cool to me.
Yeah, so they've had some good stuff, and we're working our way through it.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to Alexander Takeshita, which is also supposed to be a banger. So Bailey Takeshita, go find it. It's awesome.
It was. And
killer. Bailey really, really looked incredible in that, right? As the undersized underdog.
Takeshita's my boy.
And Takeshita's amazing.
Did I hear something?
So I think so. So it's been a 2.5 hour pod. So let's wrap it up. We will be back next week for 225. We're gonna head out to eat some Korean food. You're gonna head to work. We look forward to seeing you all back here next week. And until then, everybody, take care.